Tardy, but it is for a good cause. Hope everybody is having a great Saturday. Lawful, always. So, today we have a rather interesting and important live today. For those of you who are just joining the live, for those of you who did not get a chance to attend the last live, today we're talking about solutions. We're talking about what we need to do in order to fix our situation. So, you see it? So today we're going to be sharing not just thoughts, not just ideas. We're going to be talking about facts. We're going to verify some of the information. We are going to look at some of the documents, and we are also going to take a look at what needs to be done step by step. Okay? We don't talk. It is time for action. There are so many people out there doing good, and you have others out there who are saying people are supposed to be helping anyways, right? We can't depend upon the government for everything. And I 100% agree. But here's the problem. If we have a government and we still have to do 90% of the work, what is the purpose of government at that point? You tell me. You see, if we never have the infrastructure in place, if we never have the facilities or the personnel in place, we never have the expertise, the departments, the various physical resources, I would have said, well, yes, the people need to fill in. But the government already have all these things. They take people's tax money, they invest, they have the funds and the fund available to restore the damage that has been done and the damage that continues to be done. But yet still, we see what appears to be more an interest in gaining a profit. The government is literally doing business with the people instead of doing business for the people. And I find that disturbing. The government gets aid, for example, generators, and the government is talking about loaning, lending, or leasing these items instead of using them as a recovery measure and remove the monetary burden from it. Imagine somebody where they even have, they can't even find them wallet. And instead of giving generators and gas, because obviously it can't run by itself, them are going to tell you, say, you have to rent it, or you have to get it, them are going to loan it to you, and them have to get it back when it was donated. It was for humanitarian efforts, right? How does that even make sense? How is that a relief effort? When you have refugees from other countries going to other countries, These refugees have nothing. So you can't expect them to come up with resources. All they can do is, if they have a skill, yes, they can pitch in with their skill. But you can't expect people to make something out of nothing. How does that make sense? On top of that, I'm not sure if you guys have seen the news yet about people who want relief solutions in the form of infrastructure. They have to now provide evidence that they own the land that they want to be restored, or they want to have some kind of relief effort assist with. I have it right here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull it up so that you see, I know talk, but they are talk. It is actually fact. All right. First, and I have converted these into documents, so we can also go to the website, which we're going to do, so that you can see what we're talking about, right? So this is a Gleaner report, and here's the link at the bottom, you know. So I have the document. I made a PDF out of it, but here is the document. We're going to click on it. I'm going to allow this to open the internet. Right? And it is going to go to the Gleaner page. So you see, it is on the Gleaner's website. Government dismisses rumors of ID requirement for hurricane relief. Right? Now, better? I don't know who for left when I want to shift, but see me shift it there. Alright. They say the government dismisses the rumors, you know. Them say it is rumors. A little more. Alright. Better? Oh, my left. Well, that was my left, you know. But me don't know. Okay. Alright. So, Emma said them dismiss the rumors of requiring ID and ownership information, you know. Right? And they go into detail here where you have the government saying that people are appearing to conflate the requirement for documentation to access food and hygiene packages being distributed, right? And they also were stating that, you know, you have 27 communities marooned, etc., etc., etc. Now, the department that is responsible for building is generally NHT, right? And that was a PDF of the NHT website. Now, this is the NHT Disaster Relief Initiatives, right? And this is their website, you know, you can see for yourself. They're on NHT website. If you scroll all the way down to the end of this document, where it says, note, for all relief initiatives, applicants should ensure they have the necessary documentation, including proof of property ownership, evidence of damage, and current contributor information. So if you are not a contributor to NHT and you have property owner information, they will not help you. They will turn you away, regardless of whether or not you are a contributor. you have to show some ownership within the government system. Now let me ask you a question. Did the Constitution say you need to have a land title for one land? Did the Constitution say you need to register anything with the government? Did the Constitution say you need to have something in the tax records in order to say that you legitimately own something? So when the government, and again, the NHT is an arm of the government. It is literally a trust. So if it is a trust that is there for the people, it is there for the benefit of the people, right? Why are they lending you money that you have to pay back? Where is the benefit there? And then why are they requiring something that is not required within the Constitution? Now, they didn't say this is a law, you know. But I guarantee you, if you go there as a layman and you say, listen, my entire house gone. I was a contributor to NHT. And them say, all right, where your ID? Hey, you know, say, me nah no ID because everything get washed away. Me can't even find, me can't even find nothing to eat, much less we can find wallet. Right? Them are going to turn you away. Them are going to say, this is our policy. And I'm going to say, it is there posted on the website. Now, even if you get your ID and you show proof that you have been a contributor, right? If you can show, say, you own that property through the tax office or through the tax records or through a deed, they are going to turn you away. Why they don't require all of this when they are collecting your money for taxes? Why don't they say, in order for you to be a taxpayer in this country, in order for you to vote, in order for you to do the many things that they want your authority to do, why don't they say you need property ownership? Why don't they say you need evidence of this, that, and this? All you need to come and do is sign when they want to get your permission, when they want to get your power. Junjo Bread says, so you want the government for just giving out money without ID? Junjo Bread, I don't know what name is that, but we're not going to judge people by name. But you need to listen first and then you ask questions later. I'm not sure if you just joined the live, but you need to listen first. Okay? You cannot have a one-sided contract. Okay? If the government is going to so-called offer a privilege or a benefit, it cannot be one-sided. There has to be a benefit both ways. Okay? And that is a matter of law. I didn't say ID should not be required. That is not what I am saying. What I am saying is the letter of the law says nothing about that. The letter of the law, the plain language of the law, and we can bring up the Constitution too if you want. Go and go read the law and we come with the law. Alright, you see Mr. Chinese character, we're going to block you because you are cuss bad word in the comment section. And I don't want the live to be banned. So we'll get rid of you. Alright, so we got one gone. Matter of fact, I will address the questions later because sometimes we have enough distraction where we don't get to the solutions part of what we are trying to get to. So, keep on commenting. But we are going to talk about what we're here to talk about. So, here it is saying for relief effort, we are in an emergency, right? And this is not a typical emergency. This is related to life, liberty, property, right? Again, you cannot have a one-sided contract. That is called an unconscionable contract. You see, because people not typically go to court, you see, because people not typically challenge them something here, this is why these things proliferate and continue. They grow and grow and grow until the frustration level get to a point in time when people can't take it no more, and you have civil unrest, or you have massive lawsuits coming when people literally find out what they can do and how they can do it. Okay? Now, like I said before, if you are requiring people to have property ownership, you're requiring people to have evidence of damage, and you're requiring current contributor information, that has nothing to do with the government's mandate to provide emergency relief in situations like what we have with Hurricane Melissa, where entire communities, houses, entire pieces of land gone, wash away, landslide. You have places where water over cover. People literally in their house and water flood the house. Some of them can't come out. So of course you know what happened. So you literally have places that are still inhabitable. And it has been a month and the government is still talking about their planning. They're trying to see the best way they can do this and that. Now stick up into that. Did you know that the government say they were prepared before the hurricane hit? Did you know? All right, let me stop talk. Let us bring up. This is from the jis.gov.jm website. What them say? Labor ministries warehouses stocked and pre-positioned to deploy relief supplies. This is on their website. A matter of fact, let us go there. Now go click on it. So when you see say, I know me edit things. Okay? See it here. I know me just attack. Okay? Labor ministries, warehouses, stocked and pre-positioned to deploy relief supplies. This is October 25th, 2025. So if they were prepared before the hurricane come, why did it take the government so long to start with food, at least food and water? If it weren't for the people that were on the ground, people from other parishes, people who decide they are going to do their own community humanitarian efforts, why the government did not deploy all of the food they had pre-positioned for rapid deployment? I know me I say so, you know, people who can see it right in front of our eyes. So they made a public announcement. And yet still, when the disaster came, what happened? We even had local MPs, local governmental agents who were saying that the government said that they should not contract with any local contractors to clear the roads. They should not contract with anyone to try to get people out of the marooned areas. And yet still, they will come on live, they will come on public publishing platforms, and the government will tell you that they are strategically planning on how they are going to release the relief supplies that they are getting. "27 days after the relief effort, what did the government say? Almost 30 days later, the government confirmed that it did not touch any of the procurement money. None of the relief funds were spent to start relief recovery efforts. But yet still they said they were prepared. They had the infrastructure. They had the personnel. They had people prepared. They were even talking about JDF. All of these things were in place, but yet still, almost 30 days later, this is a news story, people. I know me a talk. You can go online and see it for yourself. This is a Gleaner article. If we click on it, it comes right up. There. This is not talk. This is something where you can go verify for yourself. The full headline is there. And for those of you who are going to say, well, you trust everything with on the news. No, you don't have to. But go and read it. That is your first step. If you don't read, nobody can help you. Just point blank. It no matter what is said. It no matter what you see. If you don't read, nobody can help you. As a matter of fact, anything that you do is going to be short-lived. Okay? On top of that, the government says the NHT is to procure 5,000 container homes. Right? And even with this announcement, what did the government say they were going to do with the 5,000 homes? Didn't they say they were going to sell the homes to people? If the government is buying something to sell it back, is that a relief effort? Is that a relief effort if the people them who don't have anything, the people them who lose them little board house, them little frame house, is that really a relief effort? Or is that a way to exploit the people further? Them say rebuild Jamaica better. Again, you know, people, these are questions. Me not affiliate no allegation. You can see for yourself. So, for those of you who are talking about how people may be one-sided and people only think about this and that, you don't have to think. You literally just have to read. If this makes sense to you, if you say this is a good plan, then we are not on the same page. Because none of what I am seeing here is a so-called relief effort. None of this that I am seeing, I can say is a true relief effort. if we are supposed to recover as a nation and the government has said them are going to sell with things, them are going to limit who them are going to consider for recovery relief, they are going to put on curfew in place for people who don't have anywhere to go. So if they find you at night, them are going to take you and carry you go God knows where. Them are going to require you to now show land ownership through a title or tax office or some kind of other documentation when there are so much land in Jamaica that has been passed down from generation to generation through other means other than government documentation. Even the same people them who in the same House of Parliament are saying what? The response to Hurricane Melissa has been slow and inadequate. And again, people, you cannot look at headlines and make a determination. Read. Read for yourself. Because a lot of people I notice, once they see one little headline, they start a conversation and they don't know the context of the headline. Sometimes if you don't want to read, there is a page on YouTube, the PBC. Anyways, the government itself is telling the people that they have been slow and inefficient, inadequate with the relief efforts. Even the international news media start talking about, of course, they're going to try to highlight all the bad, right? We can't downplay the damage that was done. We can't downplay that. But when international media start talking about how them see people living, how them see assistance response teams on the ground, but yet still the government's response cannot be seen, or it is far and few in between. So like I said, we need context before we start talking about certain things. Some of us want to show and say, the information is there. The information is there. You don't have to sit there and stay up on TikTok or try to look for the pages where people are trying to post videos and edited things. You can go and find the official news sources. Go on the Gleaner website, go on RJR website, go on official news reporting websites, even the Office of the Prime Minister website. You can go on the Parliament's YouTube page, the Public Service Commission YouTube page. Go and search for these different things that are available to you. Don't wait for your video to show up on TikTok. No wait for your video to show up on Facebook. You can do a simple search for yourself. If you have internet, you can go and find it for yourself. Don't believe not what me I say. Go and go search it for yourself. For someone who might think say. Anyways, we're not going to get into all of that. What we are going to get into is what we can do to make a change right now. On the last live, we talk about the lawful mandate in the Constitution. And we're going to go back to it in a second. Hold on. So, the last time we talk about the different funds that are available. The Consolidated Fund and the other funds that were created as a matter of law. Right? But more importantly, we have not seen any talk about using the consolidated fund that is there to fix the problem. What we've heard is that there was a catastrophe bond that was in place, and that bond was cashed in at $150 million, right? And on top of that, there were relief monies that were received from all different sources of countries, organizations, from many different sources we have relief funds coming in. But we don't hear about how that money is going to be used, specifically for the relief efforts. What is disturbing to me is that I have heard talks about the building of the new city, even in the middle of this whole hurricane relief effort. You have surveyors going out into the fields where they are saying that it is too dangerous or it is insurmountable to go into some of these places to go find people. But yet still you can have people out there digging up and trying to find ways and means to procure land, to see if people own the land same way, or if the land can be used and to what extent to build a new city. On top of that, we hear about the government loaning the Public Service Commission $150 million to so-called bring up back the grid. Right? The first question that popped into my mind was not even how the loan is going to be paid back, My first question was, so how much employees does JPS have in the first place? Right? And how much do they require? Because to the way how them attack, it appears that they are trying to do this thing all at once. Again, we don't see any raw data. We don't see any procurement plan. We don't see nothing at all related to any of these plans and projects and contracts and these things that are being signed and put into place. Not at all. All we hear are reports. All we hear are this is what we're going to do. That's all you hear. You don't see no form of evidence to say this is what we are proposing. All the decisions are being made on behalf of the people. No form of consultation with no one from the public. As a matter of fact, not even some of the people within the ministry itself is being consulted before some of these decisions are being put on the table and voted on and sometimes even just put into place. And when questions are being asked, they are being shunned away, they are being silenced. It is just disturbing. So, nobody knows how many employees are out there. Nobody knows how many more workers are needed. And even so, it's just like the whole road situation. If you are going to fix the grid, right? Let's say JPS have 500 workers. Let's use that amount. Or let's say 200. Let's say JPS have 200 workers, right? Why don't they start in one parish? Deploy 80% of those workers in one parish and fix that whole parish and then move on to the next. Doesn't that make sense? Again, I am just talking from a larger standpoint, because obviously there are other factors at play. But when we talk about an emergency and we talk about, oh, them need this amount of money, a lot of these questions that need to be asked, right, is what is in place and why do we need to supplement in order to fix a certain problem? Talk about what is deficient. Talk about what is there and what is not there. Don't tell me, say we need 150 million to fix the thing, and then you can't tell me exactly how it needs to be fixed, why it needs to be fixed. It just not make no sense. It not make no farmer sense. So again, when they ask how much assets does JPS have for you take one loan, so in case them default on the loan, them figure say them contract naga renew. So if they are supposed to be taken over, right? Do they have 150 million in assets? That is the question. Because now you pay out the 150 million. If the time comes where you can't recover that, how long will it take the government to recover that money? And now, let's say the government start owning another part of JPS, which is again a conflict of interest. The government is not supposed to be doing business with the people at that level. It don't make no farmer sense. That is a high conflict of interest. But again, that is another topic. But even so, if you don't have 100, what is being used as collateral for the loan that is so-called needed? It's just like if you go buy one house, the house is typically at a value where if you default on the loan that is being so-called given to you, then that means the bank can take the house and sell it and get their money back. It's no different. So if a company is saying they need a loan in order to fix this or in order to do this, you have to show how is that money going to be secured. And not only that, them say they need another 250 million. Anyways. Let us talk about a few things. Last time I said I was going to put up some template documentation. I'm going to put some documentation on the website on voiceofjamaica.com. Let us use this one. Walk-in clothes store. Thank you for your concern. But you can keep it moving. Okay? This is the website, voiceofjamaica.com. So the documents that we are going to be publishing are going to be right here on the front page. So later on today, I am polishing up these documents so that everybody can have access to them. And it will also have some instructions. So you can decide if you want to take action now, or if you want to wait and see what happens. This is just the start of it. From before the hurricane, we see that the government have plans, the government have the resources, and those resources were not deployed. Okay? Those resources were not deployed. As a matter of fact, it is clear that a lot of these things that we are currently seeing and experiencing is deliberate. It is not coincidence. It is simply because people don't know what to do. People don't know how they can take action and what action they can take. Because not only do we have the money, not only do we have the funds, not only do we have the resources, not only do we have the intellect, the skill, the people, the infrastructure, the resources, we have all the machinery. All of the labor that is necessary to go ahead and get the thing done. And the government is saying they have to control everything. They have to strategically plan. They have to delay the thing further, even after 30 days. So, like I said before, the only thing that pierces the veil of everything in society is the law. The only thing that brings everybody upon the same playing field is the law. And it don't make sense to start from the bottom. You start at the very top. You start at the Supreme Court. So, how do we start at the top? We're going to have several versions of this document. And I've been working quite a bit to create this template. Okay? Still have a little bit of polishing up to do, but by and large it is complete. In order to push the government to do what they are supposed to do, you need to file something in the Supreme Court. You need to file a claim in the Supreme Court. Okay? Once the claim is filed, the Attorney General also needs to be notified. And once those two are notified, the court can now consider a certificate of urgency. And that certificate of urgency goes into detail why it is necessary to immediately consider the petition or the application. Okay? So Section 19 of the Constitution empowers any person who is affected to seek redress where the constitutional protections under Section 13 to 23 have been, are being, or are likely to be contravened, meaning they are not following the law. Section 13.3, the constitutional protections recognized, not granted. Including 13.3a, protection of life, 13.3c, protection of the right to receive information. We have the right to receive information from the government. The government can't just sit down and do what them feel. People don't know that. Let me talk to you for a second. About 6 months ago, I said to you, I said, people, join Voice of Jamaica. Let us come together as a people. We're not coming together as an organization. We're not charging any fees. We are not collecting any dues. We are not doing any monetary transactions. All I said is come to class. Come and learn for yourself. Come and see the evidence. Come and see why you need to learn the law. That is where everything in society begins. Without the law, you do not have order. The problem is, if half of the society know the law and half of them are go by common sense, the one who know the law is always going to prevail, because they are also going to exploit the law, because the other half don't know how to hold the ones exploiting the law accountable. You see, if people were signatories right now, if you were already signatories, this would be a completely different conversation. Completely different conversation. We could have been talking about how the relief efforts should be used. But you cannot direct the government where you don't have any knowledge. All you can do is ask for information because you don't have it yet. All you can do is have the court work on your behalf to do certain things. There are certain things that we still cannot do. Because the most affected people, I can guarantee you, you maybe have a few who are signatories. If we were a bigger body of people, we could have done bigger things. A matter of fact, we could have made a petition directly to the head, directly to the source. I said this before. If we are not doing things as a collective, we will always have scattered justice. There are many things that I have seen change since I have come on this platform and started sharing the information. People still don't see it. They are looking for entertainment. So you see, when disaster come, yeah, try drag for every straw where you can find. Entertainment is not pleasurable anymore. So now you try find a quick fix. Now, to do certain things, we can't even move as a collective. Because many of us are not affected. Or you're not affected significantly enough to be doing certain things. We can't petition as a group because you're not part of that group. You're not showing no action to say, yes, this is what I want. This is I want to be better. Even if you say, I want to be better. So I am a part of this group. When I talk about you need this and you need that and you need simple thing where you need your TRN and your sign, so that you show the action that you have taken the steps necessary to become a part of a group. If you are not a part of a group, you cannot do anything significant within society. Point blank. Just like people who, let's say, you feel that something happened to you that is not supposed to happen to you with the police, right? Who do you make a report to? Do you make a report to an individual or you make a report to a group? You got Indicom, you got iProbe. What are those? Those are organizations, those are groups. Those are categories within the government. Departments. Nothing is done by a single individual. The only thing an individual will do is delegate in corporate situations or government. But when you sit down and wait, you want to see what will happen. When something happen now, and you see that it start affecting you, now you have no recourse. Now you have no resolution. Now you have nothing that you can use to either defend or recover. You're at the mercy of those who have the details, those who have put precautions in place, and those who have the resources in place. I told you this months ago. And it is only going to get more serious. If you thought this was bad, keep on waiting and see. If you still don't think it is serious enough yet, if you still don't think that being a part of a group is going to be beneficial for you, I'm not here to convince nobody, you know. I am not here to convince you. I am just showing you an example in real life. If you were a part of a group and we have a situation where you lost everything, we can proceed as a group. But as an outsider, somebody who is now affected but you are not a part of the group, you cannot be in a situation and then I say, me I go start this, me I go start with this, me I go start with that. You don't have the proper procedures and processes in place yet. You don't have the knowledge in place. You don't have anything in place to execute on what you want to do. So if you still feel like say, well, me I go wait and see. Me I go wait on the government. Me I go wait on this group here. Me I go wait on that the group. It's okay. I'm just showing you that there are other ways to do things. And especially now, there is no fee, there is no charge, there is no monetary value. All that these things require is your time and attention. That's it. That's it. And for those who are signatories, you can come in the group and you can ask. Or you can even ask in the comment section of some of the videos. The signatories will respond to you. I've given you the information multiple times. I have shared the information to everybody. So you can't say, well, me never know. You can't say, boy, me not have money. The only thing you can say, which is still not an excuse, is say you don't have a time. Because if you're deep on TikTok, you have a time. Trust me. What I say on this page is nothing compared to what we learn in private class. Nothing compared to what we learn in private class. The amount of resources that you have, this coming like chicken scraps. But anyways, we're not going to dwell on that. I'm just showing you that even in this moment, if you don't realize how serious things are, when things get more serious, you're going to be in a worse situation. So I'm just letting you know that voiceofjamaica.com is still available and open for those who wish to learn better and do better. I've said this many months now. Once you learn better, you can do better. You see, like right now, a lot of signatories can look at the document that I am sharing here and they can pick sense out of nonsense. They can go and find the sources. They can read. They can interpret the document properly because they are familiar. They have become familiar over time from learning in class. You know, as a layman, you go and you read this document. Yes, you can see your English, but the veil is still over your face. You can't decode the document properly. But the instructions will be there. The instructions will be there. So if you feel like, you can go ahead and you can use the template as necessary. But if you don't come to class, you cannot effectively use a lot of these things and resources that we have on Voice of Jamaica properly. Because you try to do something quick. And if you try to do something quick and somebody asks you a question, oftentimes you can't justify it, you can't answer, you can't respond properly and intelligently. We still lawful around here, you know. And you will always have those agents and people who come on the lives and they come in the comment section. Oh, you want a lawless society. Oh, so what you want? You don't want people to follow the law? I am literally showing you the law and you're asking me foolishness. You see how far the veil is? You see how much veils over them face? Even when you say lawful and you're showing the law, they are still asking you if you want people to go out and break the law. Anyways, we're not going to dwell on that. Let us talk about the documents. Let's talk about the documents. So, here we have the constitutional protections, right? Protection of property. Protection from inhumane and degrading treatment. So, we can literally pull out the different sections of the Constitution here to show that all of these things are being violated, right? There is no protection to life offered. The protection of the right to receive information has not been exercised. The protection of property is non-existent. Like we said before, if you can look into the Constitution and you tell me where it says you have to register your property with the government and go through all of these processes that they have instituted, be my guest. I am always a student. The protection from inhumane and degrading treatment. I have not seen where the government has gone around and promoted and instituted measures that people don't look so terrible, especially on the news media, especially to the international community. Imagine your own government. And again, we're not talking about the entire Jamaica. We're literally talking about 4 or 6 parishes. And if the government said they were ready before the hurricane, and then when the hurricane come, they fall short, and they admit that they fall short. It is clear that the inhumane and degrading treatment that people have suffered could have been minimized or eliminated. Section 2, supremacy of the Constitution. All laws, policies, and administrative actions must conform to constitutional protections. We know the Constitution is the highest law in the land. That is not a question. This is why you have the Constitutional Court and you have everything else. Constitutional Court is the highest law in the land. The Constitution is what all laws are measured against. Section 114, 116, and 117 talks about the financial governance. 114 talk about the consolidated fund, which again, how many of you have seen what we have in the consolidated fund? How many can say they know exactly what's in the fund? We keep on hearing they say it's taxpayer money, it's taxpayer money, it's taxpayer money. But yet still we don't know how much is in there or what exactly is there. We don't know how many accounts we even have as a collective. You don't even know that you can ask for that information because you don't even know the fund was there. You just hear the government talking about, yes, there is, the consolidated, they'll mention it sparingly. Yes, some funds may come from the consolidated fund and some funds may come from the contingencies fund, and, you'll hear them talk about it sparingly, but they will not engage and directly explain to people and show the actual data of what we have in our coffers. And we have not seen or heard anything from the Minister of Finance up until now. The FAA Act and the Financial Management Regulations talk about the management and the withdrawal of public funds. The Minister of Finance Minister of Finance still need to authorize these expenditures immediately, and they have not done so. Okay? Here we talk about the factual background. The documents that I shared earlier, they are included in this as exhibits. And we have a factual background and timeline. 30 days after the hurricane, the government relief remained minimal, sporadic, bureaucratically restricted, and grossly inadequate. How many countries have posted videos online talking about what they have just donated to Jamaica? And we don't see, I have not seen, in any news report, in any reports from the JIS, nor in any newspaper, where the government is showing how and where they are deploying all of these relief supplies that are coming in to the government, directly to the government. They come by ship, they come by plane, they come by all kind of different methods, including cash. And after 30 days, they are still planning on how they are going to do what. Here we have different monetary donations from different countries. Red Cross donated 160 tons of Red Cross and non-government organization supplies. 160 tons. Just Red Cross alone. Anyways, here we have the government publicly talking about no documentation is required for hurricane relief. Yet still NHT is requiring all kinds of documentation to assist even with the container housing, not these permanent structures that are normally built. We're talking about prefab houses, and they are still talking about you have to own property and you have to show say you own property and show evidence of damage. You have to show this, you have to show that. Again, the question is, does the Constitution require any person to hold a registered land title? And for those of you who are still skeptical, don't worry yourself. Because when you ask these questions of the Supreme Court, it is the evidence that talks, not your opinion. So the Constitutional Court simply looks at the Constitution and see if the question is relevant or if the question is met. So you can sit down there and talk about if people for just sit down on land so, or if you don't want people to pay taxes and this and that. None of that is none of my concern. My concern is it in line with the Constitution, Order in Council 1962? That is the question. Because oftentimes we see that the government pass acts and regulations and they do not meet the constitutional standards. The problem is that nobody is challenging it yet. Once it is properly challenged, you're going to start seeing a lot of these things crumble. What happened to the people who have family land from before colonial times, coming all the way down, that are in trust? Do you think they are going to have so-called land title? Can the government, a matter of fact, can the government prove that it properly and legally acquired any land? Can the government prove that it had legally and properly acquired land by sale, contract, or any lawful measure? So, if the government cannot provide the lawful means by which it acquired land, how can it then demand that people follow a proper legal process in order to show that they own land when they have literally been sitting on that land for generations and can show that they have properly secured that land for them and their future generations? How can the government even claim anything when it is temporary? Every 5 years, the government is dissolved. And that is a matter of the Constitution, and I say so. Anyways, the Constitution protects people and persons, not titles. Requiring property documents for relief violates Section 13.3a. You need property for life. It violates 13.3r, humane treatment. If you don't have somewhere to go, how can you say that you are a respectable member of society? It violates 13.3j, property. We have the right to acquire property. It never said the right to acquire land title. It violates Section 13.3c, information. Breaches Section 2, the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution, constitutes Wednesbury unreasonableness. That is explained in this document as well. It discriminates indirectly against untitled and rural populations. So again, the people who have them land title, the people who have been cultivating, living on, protecting, farming, preparing, protecting and doing all kind of things with their title. You can't just come around and talk about, well, because we don't have no record of that, we don't consider you the owner of this piece of property. There is no legal basis for conditioning humanitarian assistance on land ownership documentation. We not talk about processes here, because obviously the government can come up with any kind of process and say you need to fill out this document, this form, you can fill out that and fill out that. But is there a lawful basis? Is there a legal basis you can say, okay, this is based on law. This is a process of law that is written that we are following. Is that written in the Constitution? No. This is not a question. Anybody can go and look for themselves. Get a copy of the Constitution and you can look for yourself. This is not a question of whether or not an act is in place or an act applies to whatever. It is not a part of the Constitution. The Prime Minister publicly announced redevelopment intentions for the same region months before the hurricane. When combined with the slow relief deployment, stored and undistributed supplies, unspent relief funds, burdensome documentation requirements, offering prefab homes for sale, restricting private aid imports, absence of Section 116 activation. A reasonable inference arises that the state's omission may be strategic, serving future redevelopment objectives. This does not seem to be coincidental. The government make an announcement say them want start a new city, a smart city. And the same place that got affected is having the slowest response to government relief efforts. And for those who are saying, yeah, you can go back, go apply for an ID and go back, go do this. Let me ask you a question. How long does it take to replace an ID in Jamaica? Can you wait for that ID to be replaced before you can then go get one document and then go do this process and that process again? How long will that take? As a matter of fact, let's say in that area, you no longer have a tax office or have a lot of these other places. How long is it going to take you to get that documentation? Can you survive and do everything else while you are there sitting and waiting for them to process documentation? Even if you have a record in the system, them are going to say, how we know say are you this? And now you have to go find back and go through the entire process. Let's say you don't even have transportation, much less money. Let's say somebody help you up on the side of the road. How much can you do in order to conform with these bureaucratical policies? Section H, breaches of statutory duties. The Constitution, Section 114, states that all relief monies must be placed in the consolidated fund and used lawfully for public purposes. Section 116, Contingencies Fund, a mandatory mechanism for urgent and unforeseen expenditure, was not activated. Section 117, Warrants. No disaster warrants were issued. The FAA Act, Section 379 and 10, outlines the failure to manage the fund properly, issue lawful warrants, process relief funding, and utilize donated funds. The FMR regulations, Section 747 and FRF Regulation 2A, 5, outlines a failure to meet the minimum financial standards for emergency deployment of public funds and grants. As you have probably seen, the government has not declared a state of emergency. The governments keep talking about the hurricane, the situation, the damage. I have not yet heard the government issued a state of public emergency. I haven't heard the Governor General come and say anything. I have not heard. All I keep hearing is we're strategically planning. We're strategically planning. Even with the hurricane coming, I have not seen cleaning of the drains, making sure that the pathways for waters to run are not clogged or blocked. I don't see no farmer cleaning and preparation where them claim they are ready for the hurricane. There are sections of the country where I know that you have all of these different places where debris block up the culverts, the water runways where the runoff is supposed to be directed. A lot of those places are blocked up and still are blocked up. Relief sought. Again, this is going to be public knowledge. This is not where I'm going to be secretive or hidden. It's going to be right on the front of voiceofjamaica.com. Relief sought. Declarations that the government's omission violates Section 13.3a, C, J, and R. That failure to activate Section 116 is unconstitutional. That failure to issue Section 117 warrants is unlawful. That requiring documentation or property titles to access relief is unconstitutional. That warehousing aid and withholding relief violates constitutional protections. Mandatory orders. Activate Section 116 immediately. Issue 117 warrants for full relief expenditure. There is no reason for the government not to have warehouses and places where people can come and get relief aid, people can get shelter, people can have a decent meal or decent food that they can go prepare daily. Like I said before, Jamaican people are proud people. If people don't want it, them now go, they go take it. People now go get up and go just go get handout. Because nobody no wants people see them. For say, me no say. People proud. It's only when you don't have it. You have to put your pride aside and say, you know something? Me I go get the help, you know. Because me nah sit down over here so with pride and dead for hungry. Me nah sit down over here so with pride and nah no roof over my head. So people who don't have it are the ones who are going to go get it. Anyways. Mandatory order 4. Provide temporary shelter at no cost. Because it seems like the government wants to sell everything. Remove documentation ownership requirements for relief. Me never say remove the documentation for every single thing. Because some people only hear part of the conversation. Remove documentation and ownership requirements for relief. So people who are obviously in the path of destruction. You cannot be sitting there talking about them need ownership documents and them need this and them need that. That's a bullshit. 6. Provide structural assistance regardless of title status. Structural orders. Them not gonna like that one. Yeah. Number 1. Weekly reports to the court. Forget the news media. Because we know so them can tell lie on news too. Weekly reports to the court detailing warrants issued, funds expended, aid distributed, NHT housing allocations, rejected relief applications, and the reasons. We don't have a group, we don't have a society, we don't have a community anyways to be able to receive these things in confidence. So make them give it to the court. The Constitutional Court, I would say, me rather trust them than trust anybody else. Because everybody else is an arm of the government. And there is no way you can be overseeing yourself. The creation of a public online ledger showing all relief expenditures. If we can't see what is being spent, if we can't see what relief is there, we can't see what relief is being received, we can't see what relief is being given to where, who, what, and how. How do we even know that the relief efforts are going to people? Constitutional damages to be assessed for suffering, deprivation, inhumane treatment, property loss, psychological impact. If we were already a group, if we were already one voice, this would be so easy to show the court. This would be so easy to show the court. Suffering, deprivation, inhumane treatment, property loss, psychological impact. You know how much people are walk around at daytime and I wonder, like say, them not have no aim in their life no more. The people them devastated. Certificate of urgency. Given the ongoing harm, deprivation, and risk to life, this matter requires urgent hearing. And this is just an included small skeleton statement. There is a separate certificate of urgency that is included in this package. And you have the verification and the schedule of exhibits. All right? So this is the claim document. Now this is an affidavit. Now people, let me say this. If you're not going to read, this is not for you. If you're not going to read, this is not for you. If you're not going to take action, this is not for you. If you know somebody who is affected and motivated, direct them to voiceofjamaica.com. As soon as I am done with the live, I'm going to start posting the documents. It is an entire package. And I'm also going to talk about what you do with the documents. If I was in a position where I am going to submit the documents, okay? This is not legal advice. This is simply public information because nobody's name is on this document and I don't have anyone as a client. One Jamaica, one voice. All right. So here, this affidavit talks about the impact. It talks about the failure of the government. It talks about the evidence of undistributed funds. It talks about the failure to activate the contingencies fund and issue Section 117 warrants. What is a warrant? A warrant is a document issued by the Minister of Finance to allow the expenditure from the consolidated fund. Meaning, they issue a document to allow emergency spending because it is required. It is necessary. Government contradictions regarding documentation requirements. Family land and lack of constitutional requirements for titled ownership. Delay and inadequate humanitarian and structural aid. International aid not properly deployed. Impossible import deadlines and restrictive relief measures. Imagine customs say you have to send everything where you send come to Jamaica by December 31st. Imagine if you can put together enough funds or come together and figure out how to send relief supplies to Jamaica by December 31st. Literally, then give 60 days from November, early November to the end of December. Right? It seems like, say, people supposed to have money put on and ready and waiting for this situation. So that means, say, at the end of December 31st, 2025, no emergency not supposed to exist at Jamaica. Because if this is the deadline for relief supplies to come in, that means by that time the government is estimating that the emergency is done. There is no more emergency. And if there is no more emergency, then obviously we don't need any emergency supplies. But how can you still have an emergency, but yet still you are now talking about, well, this is the deadline for you to send in emergency supplies to Jamaica? This short deadline prevented many individuals, including myself and diaspora supporters, from sending relief aid. Because obviously, if you reach a customs warehouse and them tell you, say, well, you're going to have to pay duties on this and this and that and that and that. That means not only do you have to come up with the money to get the items and to pay the freight forwarder to ship the items, now you are going to have to pay the local warehouse fee, because them not allow you to just come, they sit and come off of the ship, then check it and you take your stuff. Now they are requiring you to go pay a warehouse fee, they require you to pay this your fee, that the fee, and the customs fee them. And in many cases, some of these fees come up to 50 to 90% the value of the items that you are importing, as they call it. Continuing hardship. Again, this is a template. So you need to modify it to fit your situation. If you have got a family place, you are displaced. If you don't have any housing, you are without adequate shelter. You are at risk of illness, especially if you are close to the disaster area. Without structural rebuilding assistance and living in degrading conditions. You choose what situation fit your situation. So any affidavit has to be signed by a JP or an attorney. Again, you don't have to do this by yourself either, you know. If you have an attorney or you have a link, you have somebody who can advocate on your behalf, go right ahead, use that resource. Use that resource. Especially if you're not a part of the Voice of Jamaica community. Certificate of urgency. So this is where it is outlined the continuing need for intervention because of the serious health risk and risk to life. Okay? So this is showing the court that there is a legitimate need for the court to consider this petition right away, or this application. Right? So all of the concerns are outlined in this document. And these are going to be Word documents on Voice of Jamaica. So you can edit them as you see necessary. Okay. And there are a few other documents that are going to be included, including a draft order and what you would call a document bundle package. Once the documents are complete, you would send a copy to the Attorney General. Attorney General represents Jamaica in all matters that you file against the government. Okay? So any arm of the government that you are suing, the Governor General, the Attorney General needs to be notified of the suit. So once you file and get a claim number, you serve the AG. And once they are served, they now have the opportunity to respond, or they can go into default. They don't have to respond. It all depends on how serious they take this matter. And what happens if, let's say for example, 100 people file applications? Just an example. You know, the court is going to take that very serious. When you have 100 constitutional claims of dereliction of duty by the government. 100 people reporting similar issues, where they are demanding that the law be exercised properly. If you don't complain, if you don't bring forth an action, if you don't show that you were deprived of protections that are offered in the Constitution, how else are you going to get a resolution? You're going to jump on social media and make noise. You're going to continue go out and give relief supplies. Are you going to continue to call out the government on things that you think are wrong? How effective is that? You're going to march? You're going to block the road? You're going to call TVJ? You're going to send a letter to the editor? How effective do you think that is? Does anyone need to listen to you at that point? How about when the court says jump? How about when the court says this is null and void, or you are hereby commanded to do this and that? Which one do you think is more effective? That is the question. Because at the end of the day, you know, you have to measure effectiveness. Is what you are doing going to work? That is the big question. So if what you are doing, if it succeeds, how effective is it? It better you measure to see what is more powerful than what is more convenient. I rest my case, because I can only say and do so much, right? I can only say and do so much. So we're going to open up the panel at this point. So if you want to come up, you can select one of the boxes and jump in. See? But the documents are going to be available shortly after the live on voiceofjamaica.com. So I'm going to bring up some people who have requested. Justice. All right, Flash.
Greetings.
Greetings. All
All
right.
right. I've been following you for a while. I'm not in Jamaica. I'm a Jamaican moving home next year.
Okay.
But one thing I'm telling you, you remember we used to have a thing in school near social studies, right?
Yep.
That been taken out, right? How
Mm-hmm.
can you talk to a set of human that does not know their rights? And the very few that know it and try to teach it, they look down upon us. That's why I sent you a message earlier. Don't focus on you're gonna get those. It's hard to say it. It's hard. It's harsh to say it. You must know I
Mm-hmm.
love Jamaica. If you move back home, Jamaica must love it,
Yeah.
right? But it's hard to say we're some of the most ignorantest people you book on when it comes to our rights and our laws. Talking to them,
Mm-hmm.
big man, is only a few. You see, the few are really interested. I'll tell you put the interest there, and we will see result.
Of
Because you know
course.
what this is like? Sometimes they say don't talk about the Bible, but sometimes the Bible have to come in effect. This is when Noah was building the ark and warning these people about things, and they would not listen. But the day
Yeah.
of the disaster, everybody realized what it is.
Right.
What was coming was warned, was told. It's not about PMP and labor right. It was warned, it was told. And even when it happened, it's still hard to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And the few that believe, they want to kill you, want to kill me. The few that believe and really speaking out. So, family, my hats off to you. And my support is there behind your back. I will reach out to you in a comment and you will know who I am. But
Zins.
where I am here, I do the same thing. I resist every system, every law that go against my constitutional right, family. I go against it. You know, I have the right to decide myself. These
Right.
people that's in Jamaica, they do not choose people who want for them. They choose people who want for themselves and their friends. And they don't sit down and look. These are my straight words. It doesn't make sense we speak proper English or do nothing. They don't even look and see what's going on around them and say, you know what? We really need to make some adjustment.
Right.
They're trying to teach them something. You hear the question they're asking you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, give a lip and land for free. They're not understanding what you're trying to tell them because, how can I put it? Can you send a man to buy orange if he don't know it?
Exactly.
You know, can line come here and what you can do. So how can you teach them something that they don't know, never hear?
Mm-hmm.
I really want you to think of what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We
You
talked about it
cannot,
before, you know.
you cannot send a person to buy orange when he don't know what orange look like.
Right.
If you can line come give you can't say nothing, him not know it.
Right.
So what you're teaching these people, they don't know.
Well.
You know why you know? You remember, you see thing I bring up? Social studies. You used to
Mm-hmm.
teach us a lot about the law and the system. That was
Mm-hmm.
what part of social study was, you know. The laws of other countries, our country, and studies about some things.
Mm-hmm.
Why they take it out? Why they don't want to educate the people in them country? Because when you're not educated, they can take you as a fool.
Of course.
Why
Truth be told.
you know what I used to beat a lot of Jamaicans? How can you use a school for a shelter? So what the people got a school?
Right.
How can you use a school for a shelter? After the storm is it gone, but the school is still a shelter. How these kids go to school? You don't
Right.
care damn about the kids, them.
Mm-hmm. You better have to use the church.
Ex, you, big man, my hats off to you. I don't have much to say. I leave the space for other people. Those are my words. Teach the people who want to learn. Bond with the people who want to bond with the truth. It's not what
Right.
you believe. You're not telling on people what you believe. It's what's on paper.
Right.
When you go to court, I know what you believe or what you think, you know. What they on paper.
Exactly.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They lose a case because they're going to court with what they believe. It's
Yep.
not what in the Constitution, it's not what in the law, it's what they believe it should be or how it should be. A system does not run like that. A system run based on the Constitution and the law. If you don't know it, then hey. But my hats off to you, man. My hats off to you. Keep up the work you're doing. A lot of us out here learning from it, family. A lot of us. learning from it. I learn a lot from it. I've known a few, but I've learned a lot from you.
Yeah, man. Big up same way.
All right. So I'm leave the space for somebody else come know how the thing go. That's all I'm telling you, man. Don't watch the comment them way. Don't even watch those. Please. Because it's also show you off. It also waste your time. And you could have move on to something else.
Right.
People who really want to learn something, it stop them from learning something. So those comment honestly, don't even pay them no mind.
Right.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, man, because that's why I'm saying, you know, something. Let me just go through and show the evidence first, and then when we finish now, if them still have question, then we can address things that way. Because you know the middle of things, people of the distraction.
But yeah, show them the evidence and then still ask some dumb question. The thing about it, you know what I look at? Family, you're not, I've said this again. You're not telling them what you believe. You're
Right.
showing the evidence. You're showing that this is what need to be done. This is the paper. This is what there. So that by right, don't question you. Go question the government. Go question the system about it then.
Right.
Don't worry, question you. No, you get something. You
But
give me something. So
but you
I'm
know,
gonna take.
say some of
Yeah,
them, you know, you have to realize some of them have a job to do that, you know.
I know that. I know that.
Right.
No. Listen, we never not go down that road there yet. We not, I hear you say some things, say you never not go over that side. We not gonna go down that road there yet. It's
Right.
not. This is the system where you're upon. You see too much of them fly up. So we never not
Right.
go down that road there yet.
Exactly.
Have yourself a great one, man.
Yeah,
And
man. Big up
they go
yourself, man.
inbox you and make you know who I am. And early next year, sometime next year, I'm on the base because I'm coming home. I'm home, sweet home, man. Regardless of what people say. And I will be in those fights because I'm coming home for a fight. Serious something.
Yeah, man. Laugh out.
Life or death, I'm coming home for a fight. Jamaica too good for sell out to people, man. They don't even realize that, man. I sell the country, I sell out. Now that's Jamaica, you know. You know, say it's the whole Caribbean, they might try to sell out.
Yeah.
People don't even realize what's going on, you know. It's the entire Caribbean, you know. These people want to come in, come buy out and push you out. They don't,
Right.
when I go down the road, enough people don't see it. Because they
Right.
don't read. They're not reading.
Right.
Have yourself a great day.
Yeah, man. Big
All
up
right,
same
sir.
way. Thank you.
All right, sir.
Cool. You know, it is. There are certain things we can't say on the live. Certain things we just can't say, we can't disclose, we can't get into. Because not only is AI watching, we always have people reporting the live. So it's not a matter of, to say, you know, say, boy, this a go on and that a go on. We're not there for that. We're there to show certain evidence that is in the public that people may not be aware of, and how you can bring that together and also be self-sufficient. We're not here to so-called fight government. Okay, that is not what any of this is about.
Because we respect the rule of law. Salute, good brother.
Right, yeah, man. Welcome. Thank you.
Salute.
Big
Not
up yourself.
interjecting.
Laugh out.
We just want to give you your flowers, man. I just want to give you your flowers, bro. Straight up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man. Thank you, man. You're sharing some information that benefit the people, man. I wasn't on the program for a long time, but it was just a few minutes, and I spot on and heard you're in it. You
Yeah.
know, hearing what we must know and come to in order to manifest our desire, and really have to give you your flowers, Virgin. That many of us are around, you know, and the people, they need people like you, bro. They need people like us.
Right.
It's needed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I could give my heart to you, man. Trust me, thing. School bump full me up. Believe me. Believe me, brother. Trust me. And we just leave it here, so but salute and to everyone. It's beneficial information. I trust that people do find value here because it's information that is required in order to participate if we so choose
Right.
in any new features that will be forced upon the people. You know?
Exactly.
I just leave it at that, man. As the brother said earlier, you really stand out because that's the information that we share, bro. is for people who can comprehend that upon application, you are being presumed to be one of the parties intended
Right.
to perform under a contract. It was the application did not express none of our truest of intention.
Exactly.
And them try to hold us to that and force us to perform in a manner because you know what's coming soon, right? If we continue to remain in this frame of mind, we're gonna see that is people are gonna be evicted just like how them do it and them stuff thrown out the door. And I'm not trying to
Exactly.
dissect, but what ties into your thing is that earlier I was reading out the new building code that will be utilized to do building and how many people can really afford. Not saying that the government now have the people interest at heart when they talk about public health and welfare. You know what I mean? But they will be partnering with agencies and other persons to provide housing solutions, and the people will be forced to apply.
Right.
And these applications create a shift in the
Mhm.
status and the presumption of those who are participating and even the transaction themselves, because shelter will now be sold at high cost.
Absolutely.
The information we share again, it is just valuable for comprehend what position we really decide to take because we cannot or you cannot tell anybody what to do, but more so to provide information in this context that will enable us and others to make better decisions. I yield and thank you again, brethren.
Yeah, man. 100%. And the point of anything that I do is for those who find it useful. I don't join the convincing gang. I tell you say you need to do this and you need to do that. You don't need to do anything. You can continue down the same path that you've been going down. It's just a matter of if you choose to change path or you choose to do something to elevate yourself. Hey, by all means. But I am not here to tell you what to do. It is your choice, regardless. Just know that any direction you choose, it is still effort. So better you choose something where I go elevate you or make you better than to continue down the same path because it's literally the same energy that is going to be required to go on any one of the paths. Yes, it might seem difficult when you're learning something new, but you easily overcome that with repetition. You know? So, any more questions, any more comments, any more
Yeah,
emotion?
I must say I appreciate what you're doing. I've been following you for quite some time now. Well, maybe not very long enough, right? And I'm here to learn. I'm here to think that. But I appreciate the effort that you're putting out because I've always said that it needs a group like this that is very effective and very objective in terms of what they are doing. And what you're saying and all of that. This morning, I know your website so much in my head because I said to myself that I will have to look at it and see what you're about. So I was on it this morning when I had my phone and I realized it came up and talking. So I am here to learn, right? And whatever support I can give, I'm willing to do that because it is time for us now to really stand as citizens of Jamaica and do what we need to do so that we can get the best out of the politician in terms of how our monies are being spent. Because the tax is heavy, it's a lot of tax we pay, although yes, some people are not compliant, right? It's a lot of tax we pay. I'm an accountant by profession, right? A lot of tax we pay and all of that. And I'm not sure that we're really getting value for money when I do the mathematics. And that's why maybe I don't have all the information, but I'm not sure. So whatever it is that we can do to make the government accountable, I really, really would appreciate that a group of us stand up and ensure that that happens.
Absolutely. And you bring up a good point. You know, almost everything we have in Jamaica as far as government is concerned, it is being siphoned into the same pot. Right? When we talk about auditing, when we talk about um, um, any kind of investigatory information, none of the public has any raw data.
Right.
All we get are statistics and reports. So that in itself I find to be very disheartening of a problem because how can we say something is wrong if we cannot see the actual raw data?
Yes.
Or
Certainly.
how can we praise it? How can we say, yes, we're doing good if we can't see any data? On top of that, we are paying taxes, and the government say yes, the taxes go towards infrastructure, it go towards government services, employment, all these different things, which yes, I agree, that is there. But the question is, for example, how much money do we have in the consolidated fund? And why is it a secret? Now, I know the answer to the question, but just for the general public, why don't we even know that it exists?
No, that what exists.
The consolidated fund.
So people don't know that it exists.
All right. People on the live, how many people know the consolidated fund exists prior to me talking about? For those of you who are actively on the live and can type, write in the comment section, before I spoke about the consolidated fund, how many of you knew that a consolidated fund exists or what it is? I don't see a single positive answer here. All right, we have one. Queen Majesty said she knew. Anybody else knew about the consolidated fund? You can drop a one in the chat. You don't have to type. Drop a one in the chat if you knew about the consolidated fund. So we have 2, 3. We have 3 out of 8 so far. 4, 5.
But me can say something because we can go and ride and whistle, you know.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
You said that it's a secret, right?
I say it appears to be. Yes.
It's not. That's not true. If you read, like I said, the government of Jamaica, I mean not at JLP, but the government of Jamaica, whenever them have parliamentary sittings, right? Whether PMP or JLP, they always speak about the consolidated fund, and I've been watching Parliament since the 80s. So it's not a secret, and them tell you which part them take the money from.
All right. So question now. What is
No,
in it?
hold on.
Right.
The thing is, how many Jamaicans, average Jamaicans, have the interest in watching Parliament to its fullest? What we get is on the 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock news sound bites, right? Or we hear one taxi man talk about something, or we hear the man on the corner talk about something, or somebody like the advent of social media now talk about something. But most of us as Jamaicans do not invest the time to watch the press conferences nor watch Parliament. Right?
True.
Number 2, before 2016, Parliament was budget reading was so adversarial to the public. We turned the mind off it because I guess it was just taxes upon taxes upon taxes. So it was adversarial. Right now, more Jamaicans are taking interest in finding out what is happening because it has not 100% but a more positive outlook more than in the past. We all can agree to that. I mean, not say perfect enough, but it has a more positive outlook where we actually say, hey, at least them money are try to appear like say them want to do some semblance are good to the people then. Again, me not say perfect because no system not perfect. But we cannot say them hide something when them always talk about it. If we choose to engage it, that's a different issue.
Right. Well, hold on. Stick a pin just for a second. I'm not cutting you, but I get what you're saying. It is mentioned. But what is it? They have not said publicly what the consolidated fund is. Me ban coming out, So it was there before I was born. Nobody I have ever heard in the public, whether political or governmental, speak about what it is and why they keep mentioning it. Because the reason I say that, I'm not going to go on for long. The reason I say that is because The consolidated fund is one of many funds created after the consolidated fund was created.
Yes.
So it is not just one fund. Yes, they mention it, but what is it?
I basically the bank account for Jamaica.
You see? That's what I am saying. That is not exactly correct.
So and it all of the funds them going and them disseminate to the other agencies then.
But it did not. Notice the Constitution did not define what the fund is. You know what? Do you know the general idea of what a fund is in finances?
Yeah.
It is a culmination. It is a combination. It is not one account.
It's not one thing, no.
Right. So a consolidated
That's
fund.
why the word consolidate. That's why the word consolidate. Yeah, just like when you consolidate loans.
Right. So my thing is, when they mention that, it is too much of an umbrella for anyone to understand what that even means. Because it can mean a trust fund, it can mean accounts, it can mean investment portals, it can mean many different things. So I'm not saying you're wrong, you know. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Let me
But
ask you something. All right. Isn't the money in this fund that them use to run the country?
not necessarily always. Not necessarily always, because there are other accounts and funds outside of it.
No, I know. I'm saying, all right. Isn't it primarily what them use for do projects and stuff like that?
That, you see, without us knowing what the fund is and what it consists of.
But you not answer the question. Do they take money from the consolidated fund?
I don't know, because I don't have the data. What I get is summaries and reports.
So hold on, with me you don't know. Them
Okay.
take money from the
Do
consolidated
you know?
fund
Hold on now.
and make and road and bridges and build infrastructure. And I may say so.
All right. I'm going to bring this back up because I want to speak lawfully, right? You know, there's a contingencies fund as well.
Yes.
Okay, you know, there are trust funds as well.
Yes.
You know, those are not a part of the consolidated fund.
Consolidated. Yes, true. I know.
So when you say they are generally using it for operational expenditure, that's why I say I can't answer that question like that, because I don't know what funds are where or when they are using what.
But I remember asking this, right? And it's interesting. I'm going to go to something later on with the gentleman who did give you some of your flowers said earlier. But what I want to know is what you gonna do that what people are gonna do with that information now?
Which information specifically?
When we hear people keep on say, like, few years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, there was this uproar about crime plan. You understand me? Oh, they got a crime plan. What's the crime plan? What's the crime plan? What's the crime plan? I mean, I say, all right, if them lay out a crime plan to you, after getting that information, what do you then do with it? So none of these information we want to know about government, certain things. When we do get it, what else do we do with this information? Because here what happen, how government run now. Is if government want the property where you live on, right? No amount of court in Jamaica can stop if and take it.
If say that again?
If government want the property that you live on, right? No amount of court in Jamaica can stop if and take it.
Is that a fact?
They may delay it, but they will eventually take it.
Is that a fact?
See that now a while.
Okay. Well, I am here to say that is not correct. You might be talking about the general population, but when it comes to someone who knows exactly how the law works, that is not true. I'm not. It is not a question, and it is not to say, well, maybe, or there are ways around certain things. I am saying if you properly know the law, that is simply not true. Because, like I said before, if the government thinks that it can swiddle around and do whatever it pleases, in different ways, just like you can say one thing and you can say it again in a different way. And this is pretty much the same thing in many legal situations. And again, a lot of people get deterred if they have to pay the legal fees and do all of these things. But if you know properly how the law works, them kind of three-card Monty does not work. It's just like NIDS get struck down by the Supreme Court. It has too much public disclosure.
NIDS did not get struck down by the Supreme Court. Don't say that. That's not true. Aspects of NIDS got struck down by the Supreme Court, not NIDS. Because NIDS, you can't get a NIDS ID right now. So NIDS was not struck down. Aspects of NIDS was struck down.
You can't get a NIDS ID?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You can't get a NIDS ID. That's what it means.
So you're saying that people have the option to get it. That's what it is now.
You can go to Central Sorting Office, the post office on South Camp Road, and apply for a NIDS ID.
Oh, so it is optionable. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, there's no mandatory thing. That was part of it. Hold on, that was part of it that was debated in the Joint Select Committee in the Senate, right? That them for make it mandatory and put a fine penalty to the police catch with it and several other things, right? And then it was taken to the court, and the court struck out that aspect of the NIDS ID, but the NIDS itself was not struck down.
Really?
Okay, so.
I have the actual case, you know. I just have to find. But anyways, all right, let's say that is true, right? The point of NIDS in the first place was what? Wasn't it mandatory ID, biometrics, and that kind of data as a one system where it would culminate all personal information across all platforms? Wasn't it?
All right.
Wasn't that the premise?
In its initial, because remember, you know, having this national ID is not a new concept.
Right.
It has been spoken about since 70s, since maybe the late 70s or so, for having this type of national ID come about. And it came back in the 80s, come back in the 90s, and then it came under Portia Simpson Miller administration and the Ministry of Health in 2007, something like so. But Dr. Paul Robertson was the minister, I think, at the time. I don't remember who was the minister at the time, right? But it's not a new concept. It is just now being brought forward now by this administration, and you know it's kind of hypocritical of a lot of Jamaicans who live in the diaspora, especially where we can't choose and talk about it not mandatory and privacy, this and that, because the countries that we live in the diaspora, we have to get the ID where the country says we have to get. We can't choose not to get it.
Well, there's a difference, you know, because we can't just lump it in to say other countries are doing this and other countries are doing that. It is, you know, for example, if let's use the United States, for example, right? They change the IDs all the time. They have new requirements and things like that, right? But the level of privacy that is being required and the requirement that is being that was being touted, let me say was. Right now it is no longer in place, but the way how it was being introduced and making it to be mandatory, or you won't be able to bank, you won't be able to buy food, etc., etc. That was too intrusive in people's lives.
But General, hold on, slow down. Because you say, because I see people say, we should have come to class and teach and that. Let me ask you this. What you just said a while ago about banking and buying food and accessing government agencies and private products and stuff like that, was this information coming from the government of Jamaica? Are you hear this information?
I personally heard the Prime Minister say they want a completely digital system where they will have all of the services, whether it be commercial or governmental, go through a digital system. So if you don't have the digital ID, you cannot bank and you cannot do any kind of government services. Doesn't banking touch everything?
All right, sir. You know, answer my question. You hear that from an official government source?
I
You're
heard
saying
the
that
Prime
Prime
Minister
Minister
himself say,
Andrew Michael Holness said that?
yes.
Say, no. I'm talking about the NIDS ID.
I am just telling you what I heard him say.
No. I'm saying regarding to the NIDS ID. That's what we're talking about. The NIDS ID. Did he say that?
No.
Hold on. No, you see, hold on.
Okay.
As to intellectual talk.
Okay.
Because there's a difference in the Prime Minister saying we are moving towards having a digital system than he's saying that we are introducing the NIDS and this is going to be step A, B, C. This is the purpose of it and da. He did not say that. There's two separate things. Don't lump up everything.
I didn't say he said that. I told you what I heard him say.
No, but remember we are talking about the NIDS and you're saying how intrusive the NIDS is.
Right.
And I'm saying to you, in regarding to the NIDS, did the Prime Minister say, right, with the introduction of NIDS, if you don't have it, you won't be able to do A, B, C, D, E. Did he say that regarding NIDS?
I didn't hear him say that regarding this.
Okay, but he said in a separate conversation that he's moving towards a digital system. Right?
Yes.
And what is wrong with that?
What is wrong with that? What is wrong with the current system?
It's flawed. That's why we have so much fraud cases. That's why we have so much. That is why it's so easy for you say managers at NCB, managers at Sagicor, managers at Scotia can't run off with so much money. We have a flawed system, so we are trying to get the system in a way where we can track people when they do something wrong. You see, people have this idea say the government want to control them, right? And the government want to know this and know that. The government have all the information already, you know.
Can I respond to you? Can I respond to this, gentleman?
Go ahead.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to come down the line one by one and I want you. Do you understand what a smart city is?
Yes, sir. I live in a smart city, sir.
Eh?
I live in a smart city, sir.
And what? No, you're not living. All right. Before I say that, which city that you live in that you say is a smart city?
It doesn't matter. I live in a smart city, sir.
All right. If you're living in America, Canada, or anyone of those, unless you're living in China, when you're talking about a smart city, and I'm talking about things now that coming from a government, simple mean the digital ID that coming in, simple mean you're gonna be you're gonna have a social credit to it, where the government have access to everything that you do. Straight talk off the bat. No.
I live in a smart city.
Voila, the smart city mean just say you're living in St. Catherine and you're doing something that the government does not want or like. You cannot come out of St. Catherine to go anywhere else and do any form of business. He can shut down your credit card. He's going to shut down everything for you that you cannot go outside of that little city that they created that you can go out of. That's what they're talking
Who
about.
tell you that?
And I'm telling you this.
Who tell you that?
Where's that?
No, may I ask you a source of information? Who tell you that?
Go on any foreign government website. Go on any foreign government website.
Sir, may I ask you a simple question?
And I'm saying to you, you asked me who said that. And I'm saying to you.
Yeah, sure.
No. My tone of voice might be heavy. Sorry about that. My apology. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. I'm saying to you, ask a question. You see, for me, sometimes I don't like to tell people, yes, the government entity where I am, and if you go on any outside of where I'm on government website, they will outline the journey that they're going to. That's why they're implementing these digital ID system. Okay? The government, understand, the government. Let me finish. The government cannot implement it because the government cannot force the citizens of a country what to do. But you know what you know what they do?
Every government that's incorrect.
No.
Every government force the citizens of the country to do what they want to do.
No. Stop it. A government, you as a private citizen, if you don't want to take something, the government cannot force you to take it.
Yes,
what the government can do, he forced the entity, which is the companies, business places to implement these things, to make them be, right, mandatory for business to do it. Okay? So therefore, for a business to get a license, they have to implement it. It have to become a part of the business policy. So now, because it become a part of the business policy, for you to do business with them, you have to do this. The government, you as a private citizen, don't let nobody fool you when it comes to that. You as a private citizen, the government can't send you a letter.
Slow down.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Slow down.
I'm gonna let you respond.
All right. Hold on. You pay taxes, don't it?
Yes.
All right. Do you pay property taxes?
Yes.
All right. You wanna don't pay no more property tax and so on to you.
You see, no, if we're not talking about taxes. We're talking about when it comes
But
to.
you just say the government can't afford to do something. Don't pay property tax and say what I'm to you.
Again, you're mixing orange with lime. We're talking about a digital ID.
All
You
right,
see?
hold on a second.
Wait, big man. When you're gonna talk about paying your land tax and digital ID, you're mixing orange and lime now, big man. If we're reasoning, let me reason smartly and reason and target what we're reasoning about. We're talking about a smart city and a digital ID. The
All right,
digital
so
ID identify you wherever you go. Just as the gentleman said a while ago. If they want you not to bank, you can't bank. That's what the digital ID simple mean. They can shut you out. They can close you out of society. They can shut you out of society. You can't do nothing. That's where the system is going.
The host, the host wants to say something.
All right.
I want to say something here because we spoke about this earlier, and you said the Supreme Court struck out parts of NIDS, right?
Yeah.
This is the actual Supreme Court case. It is Julian Robinson versus the AG.
Robinson, yeah.
Right? And the court have a 309-page deliberation final order. And it specifically states on the last page, the order of the court. It says, by unanimous decision, it is declared that the National Identification and Registration Act is declared to be unconstitutional, null, void, and of no legal effect.
Of course.
So this is where I got my information from. This is a court order.
Because of the part that say it have to be mandatory.
No, but hold on.
That now and then push it through.
No, but hold on a second. The court did not say a part of it.
Which year was this?
Huh? Which year was this?
Which year was this?
This year.
Let us go back up to the top. This one, it's 2018 and 2019.
Okay. Again, let me repeat. When this went to the Senate, right? It was Karen Morrison, Robert Morgan, what the fuck man name? Where's a trade union? Same name on the PMP side. Lambert Brown, right? They were the ones who was deliberating this and writing this bill, all right? And the PMP, same Julian Robinson, carried this to the court. I can tell you, go to the post office, Central Starting Office on South Camp Road, right? I can pull up videos of the Prime Minister, the Governor General, the opposition leader, and the Security Minister Chan going for their ID. And I have personal friends who have gone for their IDs.
All right. So I think
this was 2024.
That's fine. But what?
And I said, I'm not this. Listen what I'm saying now. This what you said. This ruling is 100% true, and they took out the parts of it that the court disagree with. That saying that they might invade on privacy in terms of the mandatory and stuff like that, right? And they push it back through the Senate, and it went to the lower house, and they passed it.
When was that?
I don't know.
When was that?
We just answer the question. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. So
I don't know which year it's after this though.
So my point here is this, right? The NIDS, they were trying to push an act to make it mandatory for everyone. If it is optional
Yes.
now, obviously you don't have to get it, right?
It's optional. No, you not forget it. Just like you don't forget the passport.
Right. So that's fine. And I am 100% for options, right? If it means that if you want to, you can go ahead and get something, that's fine. But when you're going to require someone to do something in order to live, that is an infringement on your private life.
Of course. Of course.
And that will always be something that is going to be used as a pushback. So I am
Alright.
not saying
No,
that
no,
it is
no,
all
no.
bad.
Listen.
I am hold on.
Hold on. Hold on.
I am not saying that it is all bad, you know. But what I am saying is when you are going to say, if you not do this, you can't eat. If you not do this, you
Yeah.
can't sleep. If you not do this, you can't buy nothing.
No, but
Me not depend on that.
alright. But
Good morning,
hold on.
guys.
My
Do you
boss,
guys
my
know
boss.
that
What?
PMP
Kerry, hold on,
have the
Kerry,
same
hold on,
needs?
I
I only
Kerry,
came
hold
to
on,
say
Kerry.
one thing and I'm leaving.
Kerry, hold on, Kerry,
You see,
Kerry, hold on, Kerry.
I can see
Be,
this
Hold on,
just
hold
saying
on.
one thing and leave.
No.
That do
Hold
you
on,
guys
hold
know
on.
that PMP had this in their manifest? That's
Hold
all
on.
I came up to say.
Wait,
All right.
wait. This thing is drifting towards. You see, that's why Jamaica we can't have a conversation and we
Later,
learn.
guys.
Because once a dialect start and there are certain things start come up, it start drift to labor right and PMP. This
You
is not
start with the
about labor
politics.
right
You
and
start with the
PMP.
politics.
Done with the
This
politics.
is not about
Who?
this is about learning the law, understand the
Flash.
system.
Right.
Whether it was labor right or it was PMP and they are implementing something that violate your right, just
The
the
constitutional
charter right, the
rights.
constitution. That's what we're talking about. We don't
Yeah, your
care
freedom.
who have it in their
Constitutional
agenda.
protections, not rights. Constitutional protections.
Yeah,
Exactly.
constitutional protection. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you know what I
The
mean?
moment we start have a conversation, a decent one, it start drift to this labor right and PMP because
PMP
somebody
thing.
get thin skin.
Why it always go down that road? Why?
Alright.
Bec-
Alright. Hold
A
on,
lot of us say
guys,
we are
guys,
educated.
guys,
Because we are
Wait, a lot of us say
guys.
we are educated. But you know what?
Flash.
We
Flash.
go ahead.
Flash. Me tell you something. Politics run the world. There's nothing we can discuss in Jamaica and how Jamaica operate without introducing politics tonight. Nothing at all.
All right,
You understand
wait.
me?
So because I do that,
Hold
what
on,
you're saying is, so if I say something, wait, if I say something, no,
But
because
Flash,
you're
don't
talking
respond
about,
to me
if
yet.
I say something,
Flash, don't
and
respond to me.
because it's
Flash,
not
don't respond.
justified your way, you're going
Flash,
to put
don't
in a
respond to me
party.
yet. Flash, don't respond to me yet. Listen now. Listen what I say to you. There's nothing at all that involve politics at some level. Even if you know, even if it not overt, it can be covert. Whole heap of things. I can name whole heap of things, right? What I'm saying to you is that whether the person who is speaking on behalf of being just biased and say whatever the party I do wrong or whatever the party I do right. And that's the thing can do. But you can't eliminate the politics out of it. Because the politicians are make them decisions.
Wait, all right,
Whatever
voila.
we're going to discuss regarding
It's
constitution
government
Can
make
I
the
respond to
decision,
you?
man.
You know why I respond like that? We're having a
you hear what
dialogue
I said a while
about,
ago?
wait, we're having a dialogue about the right, the constitution, and we're dealing with that set of things, right? She could have bring up something and not saying PMP. She just come in to make you know PMP bring.
But
I don't care
she have a right to
who
say
want
that.
bring it up.
No, but she have a right to say that. Is
All
that
right.
right to say that?
All
We
right.
never follow it up. We never follow it up, you know.
No, wait, no, wait. Suppose I'm supposed to say something that about, for me. You know what I look at? Because I can talk about politics. My family divide into two sides of politics, big time. Labour right and PMP. I'm not vote for none of them. I don't believe in none of them. But me see the good that one have done, and me see the good way that one done. And I just try to be neutral. Because if I'm gonna vote for somebody who don't have me as the best of interest, and my people at the best of interest, I'm not gonna vote.
Good real talk.
That's what it is. I can't be biased because the man there me come see my father PMP and me come see my mother Labour. No.
Yeah, but may I say what she said? We never follow it up, you know.
All right, we'll leave it there, so. We'll leave it there, so. But we
You
must have
know,
a dialect without the Labour right and PMP.
without bringing
Labour right
politics
and
tonight,
PMP.
man.
If you address
All right,
something,
so-
state it. But Put out the labor right and PMP out time.
PMP thing all tight, man. For real. Man.
Right.
We're not there for that. We're not there for that thing.
Just speak upon a Jamaican aspect, man.
But that damn wrong Jamaica.
Jamaican aspect.
All right.
How
Okay.
can we
Okay.
talk about
Hold
Jamaica
on.
without Liberty and PMP?
No.
Hold on a second.
That don't make no sense.
Who is around
Hold on.
Jamaica? Who
Hold
is
on.
around?
Liberty
The
and
people of
PMP.
Jamaica, but because people of Jamaica are dumb.
And them
Hold on a
dividing the Liberty and PMP.
Hold on
The
a second.
government. I know
Flash.
Andrew Wallace run Jamaica.
Flash. Hold on a second, people.
Yeah.
We recognize that things exist in society, right? But we
Yeah.
can't go down the road of political comments. See?
Mm-hmm.
We're
Exactly.
talking about the lawful mandate and the lawful options that are there, right?
Mhm.
Even the whole NIDS thing, yes, it is politically motivated in some sense, but we're talking about what we can do in a situation. And for this specific live, we want to talk about the solution
To avoid it.
to avoid bringing in the whole politics thing in the conversation. Because obviously, what is there now is not working properly. That is why this conversation came up in the first place. If everything was being done where people were satisfied, we wouldn't have these videos and these disheartening things going on all about the place.
Right.
Right? Nobody wouldn't depend on
Definitely.
social media. They would be showing all of the good that is being done, all the good that the government is doing, all the good that these efforts that have been extended to Jamaica is working. But that's not what we're seeing. Food and water alone is not going to help the situation. Obviously, infrastructure is required and necessary. My thing is, we can't rely upon people who are trying sell with everything to be in our best interest. That is my point.
Just a minute. You know what some of us Jamaican behave like? You see, once they're benefiting from something, they care about the rest.
Right.
They don't
Right.
care about this. Once they're comfortable, they
Right.
don't care about the rest.
Right. Right.
It's like-
that is it.
It's like, but I said this, and when I said this, a lot of mother grieve. A lot of time when a youth died and a mother cry, I'm not saying he don't love his child, but what he cries about is the freeness and the wrongs when that do. She can't get that no more. So she have to find a way to survive now. So the belly cut more for that. When he do the damage to other people, it was comfortable for her. But when the damage come right our door, we ain't not comfortable no more. A lot of us, that's how we function. When the government have function, two politicians, and give me some food, and I eat food, and my family good. Me care less about the rest we are suffer. A time for we stop that, man.
That.
It's
Jamaica
time
go
for
down
that.
that road
Stop.
there. But we stop
And
it.
those are the road that we're supposed to be on. Come on. We are brothers. We are sisters.
One family. One
Just like how you're
Jamaica.
hungry, and next man hungry too. Just like how you want a roof over your head, and next man want a roof over his head too. So
That
when
is
we
it.
educate each other, it's because we want to uplift each other. The host can have everything for himself and just go and live his life, I think of others. Me not have to depend on this neither. You don't have to be on it. We think about others. A time for we stop the biasness, the selfishness. Find ourselves. Know ourselves. What you don't want for yourself, don't give to somebody else. It's time for we live up now, man. Not about labor right and PMP. We in our community and we want to see community rise. We in our parish and we want to see the parish rise. So whoever stand up for us, we have to stand up with them.
Right.
Say, get this gentleman to stand up with we have to stand up with him. Whoever it is.
That is it, Flash. That is it.
100% agree. Man, as I respect everybody, peace, love, and light, and welfare healing to you, see me?
Yeah, blessings, my brother.
Blessings. I can't wait for move past this, yes, me, but we're touch upon one thing. From the 70s, 80s, we see where we're divided by politics, where the covert ops are people push you for kill off one another. Yes, me, and we suffer at the end of the day. We have to move away from the frame of mind that, okay, then a JLP, me say, or a PNP, me say. We have to say we one another. We have to say we're brothers and sisters. Yes, me. We have to put ourselves first. I want to say ourselves are brothers and sisters, because at the end of the day, we get a shot in the stick. You know what I mean? We need to We need to let go certain things. Because it's if people are united, we can't move forward in a
We
poor.
can't move forward. No
Real.
upliftment
Exactly.
for there.
Real.
Exactly.
No
Isn't
upliftment
it?
now got there, brother.
No upliftment, just divide. And that's how come them conquer. That's how come people conquer people. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Them
man.
divide.
But
They make you
wait,
quarrel over foolish things where them just sit down and laugh and say, "Yeah, man, this is what we're
this
doing."
unity bring in the enemy for come oppress with.
Exactly.
See? Yeah, see, if we
So
unite, certain things you are going on Jamaica wouldn't be going on. Not
exactly.
because you say you're affiliated to a political party and the
And
prime
all of we
minister
know,
now go on good. They make him now go on good. Say it, man.
Bubbles.
Say
All
it.
of we know, all of we have
Say it,
one
man. Just
common.
say it, man. It
We
not
have
say
one
you
common
bash him,
thing.
you know, but if it's something now go on good, just say, boy, brother, man. You know, say, that move that way you make, that move that not right. Just like you said to your son or your daughter, your sister, or your mother. See? Not because you vote for a party and a man say, you know, say, that the prime minister or whosoever around the country now move good and you criticize him, you have to be attack ill against the man.
Right.
No, and that's how it go, man. You from fear. No, don't make politics control your mind and your heart and your flex, man. It's not about politics, you know. It's about the upliftment of Jamaican and Jamaican people.
True, my brother.
So. And we have to realize that all of we can't, if we can't unify or unite on one thing, or whole heap of things we can unify on one thing. All of we in this together. Where they like to believe
Right.
that. You see me? I don't know if you think so hard, I follow this particular party, me exempted from all of these things will come. You're not. You know what I mean? I still all away and I see him. What do you want to say about it? What do you want to say
Rest,
about
my
it?
brother. Whatever I see both. So
All
what
away in the
affect me,
same
I
way.
go affect you.
Exactly. We just need to unify and say, hey, whatever decision is made for the country will affect all of us. So we need to unite and make sure the
Wait a
best
minute, Roger.
efforts are put. Yeah, Roger. The best efforts
Roger,
are
may I
put
tell you
forward.
something? May I tell you something? I mean, you said
Hold on,
me
I'm
flat
nervous.
like
Hold on,
bum
let me
to
sit
say.
down a little bit. Hold on, Dutch. Let me sit down. Yeah, go on again. Go on, got you.
All right. You see, you know what pain me? To hear them, 'cause I think it is not a very well thought out thought process. We say, why we not for be JLP and PNP for unite. How? You know, let me hear this. You know, let me hear people in the country say, oh, for unite. So
What?
so if because what me listen me. Me a shower man, see? Me not
Ah,
hide it.
Yeah, man, we know,
ah.
man.
So if me push, well, no, if me push an agenda, you think so me I push it for all the Jamaica Labour Party supporters? Me ask you now, only think I just Jamaica Labour Party supporters me I push it for?
Well, I guess not. I guess not.
About 480,000 people vote for the Jamaica Labour Party in the last election. About
Yeah.
490,000, right? And we have about 3 million people in Jamaica. You think so about just 500,000 people alone first get benefit? No. So whatever
No.
policy the Jamaica Labour Party come in with, good or bad, it will affect who? Everybody.
All of us.
So what I know? So you think say me I go push for a party or a policy will affect me negatively?
I don't think so.
But that is not a good way to put it, though.
Yeah.
Because put it as if it is one policy. When you have
No, I never said that.
no, I am saying the way you just phrase it, you say, do you think I am going to push something or push a party that is not putting a beneficial interest to the public, to the forefront, or regardless of a party or a institution is concerned, there are multiple levels of issues
Yes.
and resolutions and proposals and things like that. So it is not one thing to
True.
say, may I vote for this or may I vote for that, because someone is always going to disagree with a policy or a proposal that is put in place because it is of a disadvantage, but it comes as a part of the package.
Yes.
So you don't have a choice. Once you choose that party or that direction of government, you have to take
Yes.
everything in the bag. What dead, what corrupted, what good, what sweet, what nice, what sour. The whole of it come with the cabbage.
Say
I
one
agree.
about.
And Dutch.
But I would not listen what me say. I would not support a party that their paramount interests, right, does not serve me and the Jamaican people.
One question for you.
All right, go on.
One question. And this go for everybody too. In your lifetime, have we ever seen any government propose things and fulfill it completely?
You mean like every single thing with them propose?
Yeah, them a run around and say, we are going to do this, we are going to do that, we are going to lower this, we are going to put this in place, we are going to...
Yeah.
No.
Not every single
No,
thing.
no, that's
Let me
why.
answer
No,
it.
that's why. No, that's
No,
why.
but let me answer the question. Well, you can't answer the question for me. Let me
All
answer.
right, answer the
Allow him
question.
to answer.
Ask-
Allow
ask me
him
a
to
question.
answer. Allow him to answer.
This Andrew Holness led government from 2016, right, have fulfilled most of their mandate than any other political party we see in the history of Jamaica.
All right.
That even well, let me answer the question.
Well, I'm making himself.
Even previous Jamaica Labour Party administration, they have fulfilled more of their mandate than any other political party.
All right.
That's what I have seen.
All right. Can I respond to you? And this is not about Labour and PNP for me. No. Do you know one thing I can give Andrew credit for? Most of the thing that Andrew is doing has done was thing that PNP already have in the pipeline,
Right.
and he come fulfill it.
All right.
You see it? Me give Rose where Rose Joe.
Yeah,
He's one of the
continue.
leader.
They never
We're
stop it.
doing
Yes.
He's one of the leader. We do not abandon the next leader.
Abandon,
object.
right?
But take it
So
up.
we give credit for that.
Take up the mantle and continue with the mantle. It was not everything that Andrew did. The highway, Portmore, all of that was already in the pipeline for how many years? It's just that him coming time to pick it up and execute it. Why don't you give PMP the credit then? For say they already did have that, but they never get a chance to fulfill
They
it.
make the initiative. Them sign the contracts.
Me know that
But
the labor,
they never get
you
the
see,
time to finish
I can
it.
big man. You hear me tell you? My people in politics, big time. Labor right and PMP. When I say big time, big time. Yet still me not defend none of them. Thank God, yes, I might benefit from a few things from them, yes. But me not defend.
All right.
Yeah,
Me have
just...
me have a question for
Hold on,
everybody.
the lawful. He ask me a question, you know. He ask me a question. Dutch, he ask me a question. I sit down and think about it. Because I know I'm hang myself. Dutch, he asked me, say, would you vote for somebody, a party, that don't have the best interests of the Jamaican people, right? What did he say, right, Dutch?
Of yourself and the Jamaican people.
Yeah, you asked a question there, but you know what, never mind. Got you, lawful.
All right.
Talk, brother. We will have a reason talk.
Yeah. But me think that question there, it kinda set me up a way. We never dare argue that. We are right now, why all of us are here, Zin.
I don't know if you set you up, my boss. Is it me ask your opinion?
That's
Your
cool.
opinion,
Alright,
you know. You don't have to be
alright.
facts, or just your opinion.
Alright. But we have to look on why all of us are here. Zin. It's not a JLP or a PNP thing. And you asked that question when I said that we need to not be divided. Zin, we need to come together as one. You're saying that, but you have to choose a party. So I'm saying regardless of if you choose a party or not, regardless of if you vote or not, we are still one people and we need to move as such. I never said don't vote. Zin, that's not what I said. We need to move forward as one to push the interests of the people. So if something is going on, we get, for example, say down in Westmoreland a burn down, Zin, we shouldn't be jumping at politics first. We should be jumping at, okay then, what can be done to help our Jamaican brothers and sisters? Zin, it's not a case where, a PNP may say or JLP may say, and whatever they are doing, we're going to push because it's in the best interest of the people. Zin, we are here now to identify where the ball has dropped and how we can help our brothers and sisters. So that's what me I said. I think that's my answer to you.
All right. I have a question for people, right? Because this is why I don't get into political conversations. Someone asked a question to say, if we don't have politics or if we don't have politicians, what do we have in the country? Isn't it the politicians who are out there putting the policies in place to keep society stable, to get the infrastructure, properly running, to have the security, etc., etc. My question is this: are the politicians aliens? Are they the only ones that can get things done?
No.
I'd like to take that, brother. But continue. I see you're mid-stride, but I just want to put the panel on notice that I'd like to say something. Continue, please.
The question is, if we don't have the so-called political parties in place, how is the country going to run effectively? How are we going to have, the different parts of society running, relatively smoothly in order to get things done? And again, my question is, regardless of the hat that is worn, aren't all of these people who can be organized for the same purpose? Do we really require politics to do everything? Or do we require people?
But I said we require people.
The skillful people,
People.
the best people, the most highly trained people, and the people with the best intentions.
How is government different from a corporation?
The corporation is
Corporation make profit.
and the profit is not
Operation-wise.
government. Yeah.
Operation-wise.
The structure totally different. Especially Westminster model is totally different. Let me give you an example.
Dutch, before
Entrepreneurs can't
Dutch,
fire
I've
none of them
listened-
MP then.
Dutch, pause. I've listened to you guys, and I don't want to stay here long, as with most lives I join. There are a couple of points I'd like to make. And I see that the host is not geared towards having political discussions. See that. And that's why I came over here. I was watching something that appeared on the FYP, and I said, this holds my interest. And I looked up, was about to go check out the page, and I saw that the brother is live. And I came over, and one of the things is that this is a very level-headed host who is not here to argue and cuss and hold one side or the other. This is a Jamaican man, an African man, a man dealing with the sovereignty of the being of the individual, and that's what pulled me over here. Now, politics. Politics, we hear politicians, we hear supporters of political parties, which, by the way, I heard a legal luminary say, are not recognized by the Constitution, but they're part of our political and our cultural reality. But we can function without political parties. We can. Politicians are saying, take the politics out of it. Both sides are saying no propaganda, even while they're in the middle of a propaganda-driven speech. That's what we're seeing. And the gaslighting and the rhetoric and the people talking at people as if no one outside of their circles have the capability to think. No. All of us have different sets of training. I can't reason along economics line. I can't reason as a mechanic. Neither can I reason as a doctor. I have my specialty. I don't propose to make any solutions along those lines. But politicians, it's disingenuous to be saying, take the politics out of it. Well, go to the hospitals and tell the doctors to take the medicine out of it. And then we can have that discussion. The politics cannot be removed by politicians. I give you an example of something I read about. The Finnish people have one of the best education systems in the world.
Right,
and they don't
right.
choose teachers randomly. They choose the best people. They don't have a competition with the students. People don't come first in a class. If little Bjorn is not learning, the class has to wait until Bjorn gets the concepts. When Bjorn understands, everybody can move forward. Now,
Right.
this tiny country, a resilient people, a strong people, a people that punch above our weight class every single time, renowned all over the world, not because of our political leaders, not because of our corporate leaders, Not because of the wealthy people, definitely not because of the old pirates who came to rob I. It is, oh, the background is terrible. It is because of ghetto people, country people. And you take any name out of Jamaica, that when you go somewhere and people never heard of Jamaica and you tell them about Bob, like Dutch is maybe sitting inside of Amsterdam right now. And I read quickly that Amsterdam is a smart city. I'm not against smart cities. I must tell you guys that. But anyway, I'm not going to argue that. Now, how do a people who came out of enslavement, who came out of colonialism, who survived the political mayhem of the 1970s, 80s, all of that blood, I experienced it. I was born in the 60s. It was a horrible time. We have passed that. I am of the view that the Jamaican people have already left the politicians behind. The politicians just don't understand that. But because the people aren't so organized in a way to show our leaders that this is the quality leadership we need to move this country forward, the politicians are still playing this game, which is an archaic game. And each generation, they call from that generation a group of people who just come kowtow with what has been going on since the 1930s, since Marcus Garvey's political organization was ousted by one of our great political leaders. And they're all great people, these political folks. They're just misled. They're all brilliant people. They have other things dealing with, which are geopolitical in nature, which if they had the people behind them, they probably would be able to surmount them easily. But because they have been playing the people, they themselves are tied up in these things. They can't extricate themselves from it. And it eventually will hurt them and hurt us. I shudder to imagine what will be exposed when we are gone and our children's children are reading documents that are declassified in the future. I shudder to think about what these political leaders have to go through and the decisions they're taking and the path they're going with us, just so they can fulfill their personal ambitions. Because there's a thing called service. It is not the same as your personal ambition. Service, if it is not subsuming your personal ambition, it's pretense. I'm just going to pause right there so still come. I really like to talk, but I'm not an expert. I'm going to find say when I come on these lives and I'm going to talk, I tend for meander, I tend for go on and on. But you can't be neutral. I'm telling the people that who aren't neutral, who would believe that you have to put on a green clocks or orange clocks to go there. You can be neutral and still be a Jamaican. You can be that. It's not difficult.
Yeah.
In fact, the majority of the country is not aligned to a political party. I did say I was going to yield right there, but think about it. Of the voting population eligible to vote, less than 40% voted. Of the population
About
segment that's
37%
eligible to vote, what percentage of that is even registered to vote? Most of the people are not into politics. Most of the people are living their lives free away from political influence and are not beholden to political leaders. Most of the people don't want to be beholden to a political leader, don't want any favors from any of them, but they are Jamaican. The host asking if they're aliens. They're Jamaican people, and the way they operate tells us, it informs something that is inside of us that all of us collectively should address. Because if the way the police operates, if the way the politician operates, if the way the pastors operate is a reflection of a general mindset of us, the Jamaican people, we have a deep introspection to do. Because those three groups, they have good people within them. I'm going to drop two names from the old political school. All of you guys who know of the name Burchell Whiteman and Anthony Johnson. Anthony Johnson is from the JLP, Burchell Whiteman is from the PNP. When those two men were ambassadors to England, when their parties lost the election, the other party didn't call them back as political appointed ambassadors. They kept them because of the caliber of their character. We have good politicians, but they're in the minority. And the ones who aren't making the best decisions, I think they're being influenced by things and forces that are so powerful that they have no choices and they're way in over their heads. If only they would unite with the people, we would find the solutions. If people would stop thinking that the color of your shirt and the color of your clocks make you as a person, we'll find the solution. Why we talk too long?
Yeah,
Brethren,
Virgin,
you have a good
sorry.
thing going on, so
Can I say something, please?
I'm mute.
Good evening, gentlemen. You know the problem with we Jamaican. Let me explain to you. We rely on politicians too much. That's the problem. We make the politician them feel like them a god.
Well, some.
You understand me? I say somebody tell you you make the politician them know so you can't do without them. Cause we can do without them. You understand saying? They run the scene, they run the policy and all of these things. But so not everything we have to rely on politicians to do, brother. And that's the thing. Some of the man them come like some of the people them come like and sit down and wait on the politician them to do everything. And that is the problem. And when the politician them remember so the politician them are human being like we, you know. You understand saying? So the politician them they will over there so do for somebody and they can't do for the person them over here, so and it becomes a problem. You understand me? I say so if people them come and get together and start to do things and help out each other, the thing will look different. But you can't just sit down and wait for politician bar.
Well, I want to say something on that topic. All right. Regarding those who may, again, we have to realize that there are people who see the benefit in politics and there are people who see the disadvantage of politics. Because in any form of government, you will have those who know people start forming groups, people start forming alliances, etc., etc. Now, the other problem is this, right? Regardless of whether you involve yourself in it or whether or not you decide not to, it is going to affect you. That is a fact, right? You can't escape that. The other problem is if you decide that, or let's say you are affected negatively and it is unlawful. You see something happening and either you know it's unlawful or you get an attorney and they say, yes, you have a claim or whatever the case may be, or you were damaged, whatever, right? Oftentimes, you don't even know you have a right. You have to be going to someone else to go find out whether or not something is there. Now, even if you do find out something, you don't know what to do. Even if there is a solution there, you don't have the money or you don't have the resources or you don't even know the importance of it. If there is a group out there who say, okay, we are not political and we are here for this cause or for this purpose, right? Regardless of what you choose to do, you have to be educated in some way. It don't mean say you have to go to school. You have to have knowledge of what it is that you are doing or supporting. So if you choose not to be a part of politics, you better choose to be a part of something or learn something else that is going to be beneficial. Because if someone is over here versed in something that is open to society, open within society and can affect you, when it comes to your doorstep, if you don't have any knowledge whatsoever of what rights you have or what protections you have, it doesn't matter whether you are political or not. It doesn't matter. All of it is out the window.
Yeah, sorry, them understand what you are saying. But what me I say, you know, say, okay, the politics is there, the politician them is there. And you know that they are the one that running the country. But what I'm saying, you as a person, you understand saying you as a person know say some things you can't rely on the politician for. That's all I'm saying. You understand? All right. You see like this hurricane come now. You see people they say, where the politician them there? No man, the hurricane over. We have to get back our life together. Make we start clean up. If they want to come help, they will come help. At least we are clean. If they bring me food, Make we start clean up a place. Make we start do it. And that's all. You understand? If them come help, and them asleep there. And not for them place. Not for them politicians not even know some of the people them.
But
You understand? Saying not even
but
know how them
It's not a
eat or
matter.
sleep.
It's not
but
a
hold
matter of the
on.
politics.
The thing is now, we cannot say that because the power that is wielded by the politicians are granted by the people. So it is not the politicians doing their own will. Every power that they are exercising is as a result of the voting power given by the people. All of their offices are constitutionally mandated, are lawfully mandated by an act or by the constitution. Nobody not sit down in a parliament without them being appointed or some kind of law create that office and they get into that office by some lawful process. Right? So
Yeah.
every 5 years what happen? Parliament is dissolved, a new election of a call, don't?
Yeah, but look at it this way, bro. Whether you vote or you don't vote, the politician is gonna still there. Ain't it?
No?
Yeah, but look how much people no vote.
No,
And
no,
the
no, no, no.
politician there.
No,
Because
no, wrong question.
yeah.
The question should be, if we all don't vote, does politics remain?
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen.
That's what I say. You have to ask the proper question.
Yeah, so on the other hand, the politician is gonna be always there. You understand what I'm
No,
saying?
that's not true.
So how you gonna get rid of the politicians?
All right, let me ask you a question. The sun, you see the sun in the sky every day?
Yeah, you know see but you know say it there. Right? You know see but you know say it there.
You cannot,
You
not
know,
even, you cannot predict anything in a life. You can't predict nature. You can have estimates. We say, yes, we have evidence that it might be there. But remember, say, there is always a possibility. Say, what
that
you
is not
expect
there.
is not going to happen.
No. You know say the sun is there, boss. Yeah. Even if you don't see it, you know say
You
it there.
see, you conflate things. I didn't ask you that. I said, are you sure you're going to see the sun every day?
No, you're not gonna see it every day.
That was my question. I'm not ask you if it exists. Or you have evidence that it might be behind the cloud. Me say, are you sure say you're going to see it tomorrow?
No, you're not sure of that.
Good. So there's a possibility. That's what I say. When you make a decision, you have to consider factors outside of what you have as whatever you hold on to. You can't just say at them they are the option. Just like in a politics, you get certain parties on a ballot, and you are thinking that these are your options, right? Because that is what is presented to you. Most people don't know none of these people, you know. Other than them come on and walk around and you see them, you know, maybe on the media or some other. Most people don't know the politicians that are in power. They are not from your communities. They are not from your neighborhoods. Some of them not even come from the country in recent times. Some of them have migrated. Some of them haven't been in the country for a while, and then they go do their studies or whatever the case may be, and they come back, they reside, they get their job, they move up the ranks, whatever the case may be. I am not saying that is for everybody. I am just saying that the leaders that we've chosen are the ones that are shown to us. It is not something where you can say, me know John Brown from my community, me know John Brown from my parish, me know John Brown from Yasso, from when, from blah, blah, blah. These options are presented in front of you for you to choose from. It is not you going out there and say, well, I know this man to be upstanding and lawful and for our best interests. Me not say nobody bad, me not say nobody good. What I am saying is, what is presented to you as an option is not necessarily an option. It is a tunnel. Choose this or that. That is it.
Yeah, but look at it this way, no, my boss. As I said, most of the people in the vote in the country, but they still have a prime minister, and the prime minister represent everybody, whether you vote or not.
Yeah, but Jamaica don't
Well,
vote for your
that
prime
is...
minister.
Eh?
Jamaica don't vote for your prime minister.
At all.
Right.
The delegates of the
Right.
person.
Yeah, but what you remember the vote? The vote when them say the percentage of the vote that turn out is how much percent again? I forget. But it's a low
34.
percent. That means
All right.
But
most of
Jamaica
the
does
people
vote.
don't vote.
JB.
But let me correct that. Jamaica
JB.
does vote for a prime minister. They don't vote directly for him.
Yeah, majority.
But
First
the
class
vote
ticket.
the vote is still required for the representatives, and that is
You
ultimately
understand me?
where
I
it
say.
goes.
So whether you
So,
vote,
you bring up semantics now.
I have a question,
Because
host.
unlike the Republican
Go ahead.
system, we don't vote directly for our prime minister. But anything else, I go say semantics. We
All
have vote
right.
for a party, and the leader of the winning party become the prime minister.
By
Right.
default. But I have a
Yeah.
question. I have a
So,
question.
but the foundation is
But well, I know. Me hear what you're saying. I am saying how you veer it is semantics because we don't vote directly for our prime minister.
But here we are. The hosts have that kind of latitude there because of him start the thing. So he is the person who marshals the direction that the
No, but
conversation
that's what I'm saying. I understand
So
Oskin. I understand
yeah,
what no. The first premise me say, I understand what him say,
Yeah,
and
but
he's
yeah.
right.
you can't have the latitude to the facts are the facts, you know? There's no latitude
Right? Me
So
understand what him saying now.
I have a
But we
question though.
don't vote directly. Well, on Oskin,
yeah.
well on Oskin.
In the in
Oskin, what on the Dexter, my brother, what on there? You say a bag of things where me write down and me don't want to respond to quickly, right? You bring up the Finnish system, right? Now, you see, it's easy for you to bring up Singapore and Dubai and all these places and Finland and Denmark. These countries, take out Singapore. These countries are older societies. Them gone through them teething process. You understand me? Plus, them find precious minerals, right?
And they're more homogeneous.
Secondly,
They're more
no,
homogeneous too. They have
my
specific ethnic
boss,
groups.
my boss, well, my boss, hold on, my boss. 'Cause you had your say, my
Yeah,
boss,
yeah, yeah, my
right?
boss.
Yeah. Now, you see, we have to understand, say, how our society build, right? It create a particular dynamic will make it very difficult for a lot of people, for our country rise to the level of the Scandinavian countries then. You understand me? Because guess what? You don't have a bag of Finland people living in our next country where remit back money to Finland. You understand me? The fact that we have such a big diaspora that is more than what in our native land, you understand me, creates a problem in Jamaica. I know tons, not a few, tons of people who are my age, I'm 47, who have never worked in them life in Jamaica, right? And them have a house, them have a car, and them have money, and they have never worked. They've never owned no business. A people them live off who remit money to them, right? So they not have no interest in developing the human capital within themselves. Just imagine, say you have in our country 300,000 people like that. You understand me? Now, them people there, I teach an next 300,000 people or more to live like that too. You understand me? And it continues. Now, the Finnish people, as me say, right, have gone through the teething process and them educate the country. Them educate the country. I mean, nobody, we live in Netherlands, right? I mean, me know about the European system of education, especially Scandinavian countries then. Now, them pay more taxes too. Jamaicans are like pay tax. Them pay way more taxes. So what them get for them tax dollar, right, is because of what them pay. Right? If we are gonna ask Jamaican people, yo, would willing to pay more taxes to live the type of lifestyle where una quarrel so you want to live, if you have the healthcare where you so you want, are you willing to put up more money out on salary for that? Right? They're gonna say no. You understand me? Me come from
There
West
has to be
Kingston and me hear
accountability,
people say,
Josh.
me no want to go live uptown to pay big rent and big light. I mean I say, brother, the
There
get
has to
is
be
nowhere to
accountability.
ask. Boss, it's a different topic you can't pan now.
No, man,
The
it's
first
similar.
thing we say is
We
that no,
can't be
hold on,
wanting to
justice,
pay.
justice, justice,
Wait a
justice,
second.
justice. Listen to the
If we are
words,
paying
justice.
more
But listen to the
taxes
words of
and we are
justice,
seeing what is being done for us
justice,
and it is being constitutionally
justice, justice. But sit down
and
here,
it
so
is
I'm listening to everybody talk. I
constitutionally
mean,
applied as
justice,
the group here is
justice,
promoting, then we'll be
Justice,
fine.
justice.
hold on a second. Let him
yeah,
finish. Let him finish.
but justice allow him to finish
Hold
his
on,
point.
me sit
Just
down and
allow him,
listen to
yeah.
everybody talk. The first thing me say is that Finland, Denmark, and these countries are older societies and have gone through them teething process. We are still a very young democracy,
What are
and
you
we still
calling a
go through
teething
our
process?
process. The development process. Forget the thing, forget them democracy right. We still are at baby stages. We are still at a baby stage.
Okay, go ahead.
No, when we are compared to Finland, to a Denmark, to a United States, we are at a baby stage. At 1776, America get their independence. You understand me?
Want to show you something, family?
So
When you finish, I just want to show you something.
so hold on now. There's a lot of things being said. No, when people are gonna say most Jamaicans don't care about politics and involve in a political process or whatever, that's really not true, you know. That's really not true, you know. You understand me? Even the low voter turnout, and in comparison to the voters list need to clean up. You understand me? So you have a whole lot of people who don't live in Jamaica, but they're still eligible for vote. You have a lot of dead people up on the voters list. You have a lot of people who live in Jamaica who are indigent or disabled or just can't bother to vote. You understand? Or too old to vote. You understand me? That is counted in the percentage, you know. So if you really take off all them things there and then see the percent of people who vote, we might get higher than 28 or 27%. But we are looking at the overall number of persons who on the voters list. It's not an accurate number if you know the turnout is. In terms of percentage. You understand me? Because we can't just throw a percentage out there. Right? An MP did that. I have 100% passes in maths from my constituency. Most people take maths. 5 in the constituency. 5. And so 100% passes. And the 5 of them pass the maths. But when you use the percentage, it skew the reality. Right? Now, I think Oskin said, but most politicians have unfavorable character. Let me use that word. You understand me? The politicians with me know on both sides. Again, me a shower man. Me declare my hand. My best friend is Damian Crawford. You hear me say? I'm a brother. Okay. He's a PMP, MP. You understand me? Very good person. Me not nothing bad for say about that brother there. Again, me a shower man. So the politicians that I know personally, are very good person. Hardworking person who want to on both sides, who want to see the best for them people. The ones that I know. I don't know all of them. Right? I don't know of any politician personally who embezzle the money. Me don't know that. You understand me? Here say no go a court. Now, there's a lot of things that we can do and we can say, but the reality is different. We need politicians around the country. We need capable-minded persons, right? We want the best and the highest level of educated people in our parliament, and in our school system, and in our police force, in our health sector. We need to stop have D-level and C-level people are going to teaching, are going to the police force and anything there. You understand me? When you're looking at the parliament right now, and maybe 2 or 3 persons out of the 63 that don't have a degree, they are very educated persons right now sitting in our parliament. Right? And I'm telling you, we don't. Somebody say we lean for politicians. We don't lean for politicians enough. I think we need to lean upon them more, especially local government representative. We will get more for our tax dollar because we're too independent of politicians and politics. Why we not get enough out of politics? Because the local government representative are not doing what they're supposed to do.
So
because you know what?
How do you hold them accountable?
Enough.
How do you hold them accountable? Or how do we get more out of them then?
By the people who support them, first of all, you understand me? To hold the fire to them. First of all, for them own first up, say, listen, brother, we vote for you, I will put it in. No, you ask a question, you say no.
No.
Are we have a goal?
We don't say anything yet.
Who we put in, whether PMP or GLP, and say, listen, brother, we vote for you, and we don't see this happen. And we know, and as you educate people, know the law and know what they're supposed to do. You get every month from the Ministry of Local Government $500,000 for the XYZ. Why is this not being done? Secondly, why is that contractor there? That man is your brother-in-law or that man is your friend. Why is he not do the job? If it's not a good contractor, there are other contractors who can do the job for half the money. You understand me? And we are going to pick it and we are going to block the site until they do the right thing. We, the supporters, as the people who will put in, have to do that first. And then the rest of the people will follow. But enough time when we see our people in there, you know what we do? So we don't vote for him already. I want our people, them, you know, them staring, make them go on. We don't lean for them enough. You understand me?
Dexter,
We,
mute
we,
your
you know, we
mic.
lean pan, we lean pan biasness. Anyway, Dexter, go through Dexter.
Yeah, sorry about that, host. Listen, I'm listening to the conversation, and I have one question that I'd like to ask. And I'm going to ask a question, and maybe somebody can jump in and answer. Where in the world do we have a system that is 21st century, that has been successful, that has led to a country becoming, achieving first world standard, where politicians are not involved?
I can answer that
Anybody?
question. I can answer that question, and I think that question is not neutral and it is one-sided because you're asking a question about an entire worldwide structure where politicians are at the center of it. There is no comparison to be made. How are we going to compare to something that don't exist?
Okay, so it doesn't exist, and my questions are going to be one-sided, host, because I hold a different position from what the majority of the panelists hold. Because my position is, and I might just declare my position, is that we do need politicians. I don't know if we are familiar with what is called the state of nature. It's a philosophical theory that explains how societies were born and how societies developed. And within what was called a state of nature is where we have nobody is really in charge. You know, it's a dog eat dog kind of existence, where if you have something and I want it, I just come and I destroy you and take it. You know, and it is out of that kind of environment where we have what is now called a society, what is described in modern day description as what is called a society, where we have laws. You know, we have a group of people elected, a democracy where we have a group of people elected, whichever way we define a democracy, where we have a group of people who are elected, and they are there to make sure they kind of overlook how society, the structure of society is kept up. I mean, other than that, if we don't have that in what we call politicians today, then what we will go back to is what is called a state of nature. Who wants to live in a state of nature? I wouldn't think anybody wants to live in a society where people just get up and just decide that their way is the best way today, and another group gets up tomorrow and said, my way is the better way. You know, so politicians are very important. You know, the discussion should be about how we hold our politicians accountable, so that we get the best out of them, and whatever policies they create, you know, it rebounds to the best interest of the people in the society. It can't be that we are having a discussion that centers around no politicians. Let's take the politicians out of the equation. My question is, if we take the politicians out of the equation, what are we left with?
All right,
And my
good.
answer to that, my friend, is that we're going to be left with a state of nature where all and sundry is going to come and say, today,
Chaos.
one person, a group is going to say, my way is the best way. Another person comes up and says, no, your way is not the best way. My way is the better way. And what we'll be having is an evolving scene of just wars.
But hold
Just
on a
like we had in the
second.
state of nature.
Hold on. I want to make sure that we are on the same page. You mentioned that it appears that we're of the mindset that we don't need politicians, right? Or politicians don't really serve good of a purpose. Correct? Is that your...
Yes. From what I'm gathering from the discussion is that we don't need politicians. They're irrelevant.
Okay, so I want to make sure I correct the thinking, at least from my standpoint. So, firstly, I am not of the idea to get rid of anyone. I am not of the idea to get rid of the politics that are there. You can mute your mic for a second. I'm getting an echo. I'm not sure from where. I am not of the idea to get rid of anyone or to remove the offices or to get rid of that is far from my thinking. Okay? My position is to stick within the letter of the law. I feel 100% that if the law is being followed 100%, society would be perfect. I don't think we would have problems if the letter of the law was being followed in all aspects of where it needs to be. What we have today is that we have legal processes that are being followed that have nothing to do with the law. That is where I feel all the problems come. And secondly, the people who are putting those in power have no say in the policies that are being garnered. They have no say in changing any of the procedures that are in place. They have no say. And when I say they have no say, I'm going to be very clear. I am not talking about press conference. I am not talking about meetings. I am not talking about public disclosure hearings and all these different things. I have not seen where the people of Jamaica have put in suggestions and requirements to the government and those were put in place. I have not, if it has happened, me never see it. You can correct me if I am wrong. But the people have not been an integral part of what the people want, the will of the people. But yet still, the people are the ones who are going out and casting these votes and putting back those in power.
We can give one such example.
I'd like
Go
to
ahead.
make a point, and then I'm going to leave after this.
We can give one such example.
Hold on, Dutch, I'm going to leave. I promise you this. When I'm finished talking, I'll drop myself immediately. Now, Dexton, I, for one, I'm not for getting rid of politicians at all. And I hope, and nothing that I said led you to believe that. In fact, I don't know if you remember in the beginning, if you were listening to what I said, is that one of the things that I hear people spouting about smart cities, and I actually wrote a paper about that, about creating entirely new cities. In fact, I envisaged 3 cities, and I envisioned a new Kingston, meaning not New Kingston up there, so, but a new Kingston that takes into account the expanse between Portmore and Spanish Town, and then would tear down entire sections of the city for traffic purposes and other things, and all kind of policing and governance and all of that. But that's another conversation for another time.
I am 100% with that. I am 100% with that, Ashki.
Yeah, man. One thing I heard Dutch say, and we talked about the infancy of our democracy. And our democracy, it is a young one, but it doesn't excuse us from taking the very best practices of all the best practices of all the nations that are thousands of years, incorporate them into how we run this country of ours. And you mentioned Singapore, but you dropped it. And people love to cite Singapore, but there are things that happen in Singapore. For example, when you're going into Singapore, Google it and look at the image of it and what they write on their customs form, what the penalty for drug trafficking is. It's very clear. Now, our society, we pull our politicians, again, this is what my position, we pull our politicians, they're called from us. And the way that they manage our affairs, as well as the way that our society is policed, as well as the way we're pastored through our religious movements, says a lot about who we are, not just the politicians, what we accept as norm and what we consider to be the way that we want to be led. Now I'm going to ask this question. And if anybody inside here not just knows the name of your MP, because most people I talk to don't know the name of the MP or the councillor, whether or not they vote for the person or not, or whether they even voted, is which bill is being considered in our parliament at this time? And what are the provisions in that bill, and how do those provisions affect your own life? And when we get involved, that's where you and I agree, Dexton. When we get involved at that level of the process, not saying we're going to go there and legislate ourselves, because we already elected our representatives, and the PM and the opposition leader already nominated and selected their senators, which is something we need to change, by the way. But no,
You have to change the constitution first.
we will, and we have the brain power to do that. We have the intellectual capital, we have the strength of character, we have straight up brilliant people in this country who can make all the changes what we want to be made in this country. But what is happening is that the system we have, it's repelling the best people. Let me tell you what I mean by that. You'll have someone who is a truly subject matter expert, like a legal luminary, who could just sit down and by the end of 2026, come up with an entirely new constitution. A group of 6-7 people can do that. And maybe shorter time than that. So I believe whether we're in our infancy, I don't think we're in our infancy. I think this nation is a young adult who wants to go back and cocoon itself each time and make excuses for where we are. But one of the things I get from this is that this is not intended to be a political channel at all. So it is my hope, and I'm putting this out there, putting it in words, putting it in your heads, that allow the host to take this discussion away from partisan politics and away from politics itself. We can agree that we need our politicians. We can agree that we need the best of our politicians, not what we're getting now. And we can agree that they are Jamaicans, because they are, because the host did ask if them are alien. Them not even come from Antigua or Dominican Republic. Them are Jamaican, them come from Gimme a Bit, them come from Wait a Bit, them come from West Kingston, them come from Rockfort, them come from Norwood, them come from wherever them come from. Them come from Darliston. And that's where politicians them come from. Them know the people, an MP could have go right now in a Maypen and call out all the business leader them name and take up him phone and call them and say, yo, meet me over here, so now, and them show up. So we just need the best of them. But we can't get the best of them if we ourselves are not being our best. And we can't be our best if we don't have the conditions around us, the level of education, the presence of mind, the sense of self. But we're not going to get that from the politician. But as leaders, it is a requirement that the politician leads us to that place. Someone mentioned the difference between a corporation and a government earlier. Here's one parallel that we can draw. A leader is a leader wherever it is that you are. Whether you're leading an ignoble group like a gang, or whether you're leading a Fortune 500 country or leading a country, leadership principles remain constant. The thing that you're leading then has its own way of leading. But if a CEO does not perform, he's gone, he or she is gone. If a pilot does not land that plane, not just the pilot goes, but other people goes with the pilot. If a surgeon does not stand there for 12 hours and perform that brain surgery,
That is a bad example, Oshkin.
No, brother, it's not, because it is easy.
When a pilot make an error,
can I say something, because Oshkin,
400 people dead. Well, understand, when a pilot make an error, 400 people dead. You understand me? When a politician make an error, you don't have 400 people are dead.
Our politicians made some grave errors in the 70s. You know how many people...
You're gone back at the 70s. We're not 2025, my boss.
In 1979, 1980? No, brother.
Skin.
In 1979, 1980, I was a child. But I was a child about to go to high school. And let me tell you this. I was so afraid. I was so afraid. I was a scared little child. And you know how many people our two political leaders caused to join that fertilizer group?
Yeah, but that, you're talking.
And since 1979, 1980, we have had a significant and enormous challenge bringing that figure down, because what those two leaders did, they normalized us doing that to ourselves. That's what they did.
And that's not true.
That's what their mistake.
Hold on, can I say something?
The mistake they created.
I just need to say something, Oskin.
Was not even our fight. It was an East versus West fight. It was a USSR versus West fight. That's the fight they got us immersed in.
All right. So
Hold on. Uskin, can I say something? I'd like to address something that he said, Mr. Host.
May I drop
Because
down now, Skip? May I listen
Uskin,
to you?
Uskin,
I'm on
don't
the
leave
whole
it,
no,
thing.
no,
Uskin,
no,
don't
don't
leave it,
drop down here.
Uskin.
Don't drop
Don't leave
down
it, man.
because you don't drop down because you have said a lot of things that are contradictory. Because you are in one breath saying that the host should agree with you that
no.
politicians are irrelevant. No, no, no. Can you just listen for a second? We listen to you. Um, you are in one breath saying that politicians are irrelevant, and the host should agree with you that we don't really need them and we shouldn't go down that road in the discussion. But yet still, you take us down that road in the discussion because you are discussing politics at the center of your argument. When you make the argument that politics politics is what led to the violence that took place in the 70s and the 80s. So you are taking the argument from the vantage point that politics is central to your argument, right? And you and I don't have any evidence. We can talk about what happened in the 70s, and we can talk about what happened in the 80s, but you and I don't have any falsifiable evidence to suggest that either Michael Manley or um, Mr. Edisiaga gave anybody gun during the 70s or in the 80s to perpetrate violence against anybody. You and I don't have that evidence.
No, that
And
didn't
if
happen,
you
my brother. You know who did that? You know who did that? Eric Williams of Trinidad and somebody from Guyana. And I'm not saying because I don't have any evidence, but I wish you knew what I know. But I'm responsible enough not to
yeah, but
say some things in the public.
yeah,
But
and I'm happy that
one thing you said,
you are
one thing you
exercising
said
that
though, you said
responsibility, you know.
no, you said one thing that has no relationship with the truth. I did not at all think that politicians, and I could never say it if I didn't think it, are not relevant. That's just something that is at great variance with the actual truth and the things I said. I did not say that. I did not at
No,
all
no, no.
say that.
No,
So,
you said that
what is
you
happening?
said that the host should be allowed the latitude not to involve partisan politics into the discussion.
No, I
But then you
said
take us down that
no.
road.
No, Dexton. Dexton, this is what I said. I said when I started listening, I didn't say it when I started listening. I said I gather that the host didn't start this live to have a political discussion, and I didn't want not asking for him to have the latitude because I see him as a capable person, and I don't want him to be on my side. I see him as a person capable of steering the conversation to exactly where he wanted, and I said I'm putting it out there that for everyone to have in their mind that this should go in the direction, that specific direction, because I don't gather that this was started as a political discussion. But Dutch is a very honest man. I see him in another life. If you go back and talk to Noel in a Dutch, but anyway, as Dutch is a man straight up, make him know him, declare him hand. I voted for both parties. I come from a home where my mom was a JLP delegate. I'm not into politics. I'm straight up not into politics. I vote for any side I want to vote for. I don't care about partisan politics. I care about governance. I know that politics important based on where we are as a state, as a group of nations that makes up this community of human beings operating in nations. I couldn't be so misguided to think that we don't need politicians. We don't
Ushkin,
need
Ushkin,
partisan division
Ushkin,
in politics.
Ushkin.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't need that to govern.
Me want to bring we bring the conversation to present day. Cause me not like when people go back to the 70s and the 60s and the 80s and the 90s. You understand me? Yes, we have to learn from our past, but me I say me could do what happen in front of you right now. Me could approach what in front of you right now. You ask a question to people you say, and I think it is very unfair for you to do that, right? Very unfair. If you look on a security guard who went and voted in the last election, right? And you say to him, say, who are your MP? Right? And him say, Matisa Moda, right? And then you say to him, say, what bill is Matisa Moda pushing now in the parliament? It's a very unfair question. This man, right, is a hard-working man, work for 12 hours. You think say him going to depend on him job, right? Not focusing on him work, and I listen to parliament in the middle of the day. Most persons who vote and who are working are actively engaged in productivity. They don't have time to listen to parliament because parliament happening at the middle of the day, right? When we had the last sitting of parliament, we extend into the night last week. Most people then just a come home, they might get themselves ready for go to bed, they might get them children them ready for the next day. Then after that, so them hear the sound bites and the clippings, right? We are not that invested in the parliamentary process of a country, or a part of our culture. It's wrong, you know. So it is the die-hard people like me, you understand me? And other people who are on the PMP side who find the time and invested in it and listen to it, right? And know say, oh, he might push through that bill, oh, he must say this, he must say that. A very few people do that. Most people know say, you
Yeah,
know what?
but Dutch, he's not the person who doesn't know that. It's not wrong because you have to understand that a lot of people vote. They vote for the major policies that are being pushed by
Yes,
a party, or they vote for the philosophical position that the
of the
party takes.
party.
Whether the party is free enterprise, the party is socialist, democratic socialist, or the party is
Yeah,
communist or whatsoever, and that is what caters to their well-being, right? They don't have like in America. In America, a lot of people who live in a congressional district, they have never met their congressman. They don't know them. They
never.
probably don't know the name. But they align themselves with the Democratic Party because they adhere to the tenets of that party, or they adhere to the tenets of the Republican Party. So to say that the person is wrong, in not knowing what they don't care what bill is
They
being
don't
pushed
care.
through.
But
They
but
want
hold
to know
on.
that they want to know that the philosophical position that the party carries aligns with their well-being. They want the free
Yeah.
enterprise. They want the low taxes. They want to make, or they want the big government, or they want the socialist regime.
But
That is what caters to them. And for me and you to say that they are wrong for having that position, would be undemocratic in my view.
so I want to touch on that topic for a second, because I want people to realize the differences between Jamaica and other countries. You are not guaranteed to go sit in parliament and say anything. You can't just get up and go to parliament. You have to get invited or accepted to go into parliament, to actually be in a parliamentary session. That's number one. Number two, if you look at a country like the United States, you can simply just register and go in. You can go to these buildings and go be a part of all of these
You
lawmaking processes. You can
no,
go
you
and
can
voice
just
your
you
opinion.
can
You
just
can go and.
you can just get up and go to Congress like that.
I didn't say Congress,
But
but
Parliament is what compares to
all,
our
all right,
to our to Congress.
that's
If you're
fine.
talking about
Hold
local
on now.
government,
But hold on. Let's use Congress as the example. Yes,
yes,
you can get invited into Congress easier
you
than it
can
is
do that.
for Jamaica.
No, that's not true, my friend. No, that's not true. I'm gonna disagree with you because you can. It is easier for you to get into the House of Parliament. Do you
Yes.
know how much
This much time you got
security
there?
background checks you have to go through to get into Congress? Huh?
Big man,
You don't
I
you
am
don't you don't
telling
have to
you
go.
100%. It is easier
No,
to get into Congress than it is to get into Parliament.
no, no,
How
no.
many people
Listen,
you know that
I
is
have
outside? How many
I
people
have
from a regular neighborhood can request to get into Parliament
Enough.
through a normal
enough. A
Enough.
process
lot
and
of them.
have been accepted in
Enough.
there?
A lot of them,
Enough.
my friend. A lot of them. And I
Enough.
tell you, and I tell you this too, that the parliamentarians are all too happy to get you into parliament to participate. Do you know why? Because a lot of us Jamaicans don't really participate in the governance of our country, so they are very happy to come inside there.
But
They're
So
next
I
very
time,
have
happy
hold
to
on,
heard.
hold
get
on.
your
Next
voice.
time, but next
Yes.
time, hold on. Not only that too, our politicians are more accessible than the American politicians.
Thank you very
More
much.
accessible. More accessible.
I beg.
Hold on. The leader of the free world, right? Can you walk up to him and say, "Sir, may I beg you a donkey?" May I ask you that? Any American citizen can walk up to him and ask him for something?
I
Is
don't
that, is that, is
know.
that, is that a genuine question? Can a regular American,
I honestly don't
in,
know.
when the president of the free, no, hold on. All right, hold on. Let me phrase it a different way. When the leader of the free world is in public at any public event, can a member of the audience just walk up to him and ask him for something?
No, no.
Have you
Can
ever
you
seen it
walk?
before?
No,
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 I
that
haven't
can
seen it.
happen.
No.
Okay. We have
No.
seen several times members of the public, when our leader is at an event, walk that a beeline to him. They make a beeline to him, hug him
Okay.
up, and ask him for something, and the person get it many, many times. I mean, I thought those Andrew, I thought the leader of our country, whether Portia Simsibilla, Michael Manley, Donald Sangster, whichever one of them.
Okay.
Our politicians and our leader, you can't even get in maybe 1,000 feet close to the leader of the free world. You'll be shot. If you make a beeline to the leader of the free world, you will be executed. Am I lying?
I don't believe that is true because he is.
If you are making
hold
a
on
beeline
now.
to the president, the
Hold
sniper
on
them
now.
will take you out. Me know that for a fact.
Hold on now. If you are trying to get to the president, he has security around him 24/7. So they are going to stop you if they are not passing through a crowd. You are going to be stopped.
Sir, let me tell you something.
Them not going to take you out. That don't make no sense.
Hold on. When they shot Ronald Reagan, it's because he defied the secret service and wanted to stop somewhere that wasn't scheduled on the route, right? And he got shot. From that, them change how Secret Service operate. The president can't dictate to the Secret Service anymore. If you forgot ABC, ABC you go.
Okay.
You understand me? And I'm telling you, if somebody, just like I say many people, right? Even recently, where you see this lady I run from upstairs. You know, I think I sent Elizabeth at one of them places. She run from my place, her business upstairs, and come Andrew, and run and make a beeline to the Prime Minister. You cannot do that in the United States of America. The sniper will take you out before you reach to him. May not ask you. I'm guarantee you that.
Okay. What,
Sir, hold on a second.
So what is that?
My wife presents at Congress. My wife presents at
Okay.
Congress, sir. And I'm telling you, the amount of security check. She said to me, say, since we got married, do not make any posts on social media about the United States. Do not make any she said, whether positive or negative, don't make any posts against the presidency or any of the policy. Do not make any posts against the foreign policy.
Okay.
Believe in living in the United States, my boss.
Right.
She said, if you do so and then find out, right, she won't be accepted in Congress.
Okay.
Remember, you know, believe in living in the United States.
Okay. But
So I've been to the Parliament,
Yeah,
Jamaica Garden House. I've been to Garden House about 7 times. Nobody done a security check for me.
I don't want to get too deep into politics. It was just a simple question that we were referencing between the different countries and Jamaica, right? Where we're saying accessibility to parliamentarians or, you know, where they make most of these laws. And I was, my example was because in the United States, it's not like Jamaica where you have almost all of the policies being made in parliament. In the United States, you have local policies being made for different towns and different places regularly. So I wasn't specifically talking about, you know, going into the Senate, but you can be accepted into the Senate just the same as you can be accepted into Parliament. And the processes are different. I am not denying that. I am saying, to me, again, this is my opinion. I'm from my experiences. It is easier to get into Congress. Mind you, since recently, I have not attempted or tried any of that. Okay, but in the past, it has been easier to get into United States Congress or a local representative parliament. What do I call it? The House of Representatives, for
Local
example.
government. Yes. Yeah.
House of Representatives. It's easier to get into the local ones.
Have you tried to get into the Garden
The
House?
city councils. You can, yeah, you can get into city council with ease.
All right, gents, I'm going to go, and I really thoroughly enjoy this discussion. You know why? Because we're around here having this discussion, and clearly we don't see eye to eye. We even have Dexton misinterpreting totally what I said to mean something else, and that's okay. But in all of that, what I've seen, because of the graciousness.
No, it's not that we don't disagree or asking. It's not, and we don't have to agree. That's the thing, you know, when we come on platforms like these, you know,
Yeah.
it is good to engage with people like you, because people like you have a certain level of intelligence, you know, that
You
is
flatter
good,
me, I know.
because, you know, we don't have to because no, I'm not being flattering. I'm just saying that to engage with someone like you, we don't have
Yeah.
to descend into shouting and name callings, because, you know,
Ah.
we don't have to disagree. That's the point, you know, I'm trying to make, you know, we don't have to disagree.
And I'm saying this host attracts that. And the caliber of all of us who have talked here, and even in the chat, people exchanging, but it not descending into bedlam and people being irascible and just plain rude. So I like this. I definitely will return. You guys just keep it going, because let me tell you something. You see, to find solutions, we're going to make a lot of mistakes. I'm not against leaders making mistakes, but I am totally for the people being led managing up, because managing up means we first manage ourselves and we set examples for ourselves. Then we tell everybody,
Right.
this is the standard we would prefer. We're not going to demand it of them, because at the same time, there's a word that's been going around since this thing we've been facing with what's happening in the West is dignity. I really like that word. Everybody has to maintain their dignity. You can't make a man shame and lose face and then expect him to do the best. It takes a certain character to do that. And not all of us come equipped with that ready-made. Not all of us even know that we have it within us to get to that place. But leaders, again, are supposed to be exceptional. They're not average people. None of our leaders are supposed to be average people. And this is just one thing we disagree with everything. We straight up disagree with Dutch about this. I don't believe we're in our infancy. I believe this nation is a young adult. And young adults sometimes want to run back home to them parents. But we can't do that. We don't have that luxury. Our parents have a safe haven, but that's not what adults do. Imagine us as a bird, a doctor bird even. And you come out of that egg there, your mom, carry things come give you, carry things come give you. And from your grow your feather them and fly, not even the mother go back to the nest. So that's the direction we have to go, you know. Me think. And I believe that this life is driven towards solutions. And in the way that we have our exchanges, I think we will find solutions. And then when we find solutions, I think we will find ways to get those solutions to our leaders. And then it will redound to the rest of the nation.
Yes,
I believe in that. Huh?
Sorry.
Hoskins, can I tell you something? That
Yeah.
this democracy, Jamaica is what, 62, 63 years old? Is it that am I correct? Yeah,
About
but
63, yeah.
63. And I tell you something, that Jamaica has something to be very proud of. I think our politicians and our leaders, we don't give them enough credit. But they have managed, this democracy in such a way that right now we can have, in the last two election cycles ago, we had a parliament that there was a one seat majority in the parliament. A lot of countries, would have descended into chaos.
Chaos, yeah man, yeah man,
Yeah.
yeah man.
And they
And
wouldn't be able to
But
legislate.
look at the great
and they wouldn't be
England where
able
them
to
have what, 6 prime ministers in the last 10 years, right?
in the last 10 years. And that's what, a
Six
democracy of
prime
what,
minister.
more than how many hundreds of years, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that we have a lot to take credit for in terms of how far we have grown as a democracy and how mature we have conducted ourselves in terms of how political power is transferred in this country. I think we have a lot because a lot of countries, I tell you, they would have descended in chaos had they had that arrangement.
Oshkins,
Yo.
you said something, for go back on Noel program. Noel is unlike this host. Noel doesn't allow balance, right? You can't allow your guests if you
Yeah,
disrespect
he
other
blocked me from
people.
coming. He blocked me, Dutch,
In
from coming
style
over there.
different,
Yeah.
in style different, still and him no know we
No,
like
no, it's
that, you
not.
know.
No, your style can
Can
be
I say
different, but
something?
what I'm saying is, what I'm Kevin, what I'm saying is, me ask Isaac Buchanan a question. It's a very simple, easy question. You understand me? And Isaac start descend into some like
That way.
adversarial type of
He was
commentary,
disrespectful.
right?
He was
and
disrespectful.
and, and disrespectful. No, and then after that, other people proceed to come on the platform. When I came off, I started literally bad word disrespecting me and calling me all kind of name, and they will just sit down there and allow that. I mean, I say as a
Me
host,
see it, man.
you
Me
can
see
be
it, you
of
know.
a
Me
different
over there, you know. Watch out.
orientation.
Dutch.
You have to stop and say, Mr. MP or sir or madam. No, you can be upset with him, you can disagree, but you can
Dutch.
express yourself in a respectful way. That's all I say. Me can't go up on the
But
platform, the boss,
yeah, me
because me
go.
can't
You want me
allow
to say to you,
my
though?
adult children to see me and a man I do that thing there.
You
Let
want me
me
to say to
ask,
you?
can I ask a question, please?
You want me to say to you? I want to
Let
show
me
up.
ask a question, bro. Let me ask a
Want
question.
to leave.
What
Want to leave.
qualification, is there a qualification there for politician to pass before they become a politician? Or they
You
can
mean
just
like
take up,
academic wise?
eh?
You mean academic wise?
Yeah, like, is there a qualification there where they have to pass before they can
No,
become a
There are
politician?
requirements. There are
no,
requirements.
So wait,
Yeah.
let me
no.
leave.
You don't have to. You
There
don't
are
have to
Leave.
have a.
requirements,
You
not
don't. You
qualification like
don't have to
academic
be. You
qualification,
don't
but
have to be
requirements.
qualified. Yeah.
Let me say something to Dutch and leave. Dutch, want to put this in your head. Want to put this in your head. I think that you the fear. You know why I'm thinking fear? Because him allow all points to contend in a very chaotic space because we tend to make things chaotic when we give a free rein. So I know him at this saying or the people them not the thing, you know. And whether I have some biases or not is yet to be determined. But I can tell it in a secret. You see the night before the hurricane, I had the first troll him get to know. I'm one of my biggest supporter right now. You know why? Because I think we need a channel like that in Jamaica with all of the channels who are going around the same way. He's a very fair guy. I
Oshkin,
think he,
No,
Oshkin,
no, no.
you missed the
Oskin,
point.
hold on,
Oshkin, you missed the
Oskin, hold
point.
on, Oskin, hold
so,
on, Dutch, Dutch. I was on that. Let me just tell Oskin this. I was on that program, just like
yeah,
how I came across this good gentleman's program here, and I
yes,
was
sir.
listening. I was listening to the discussion, and I sent in a request because I wanted to participate in the discussion. And my participation in discussion was like I'm participating right now. It wasn't acrimonious, it wasn't adversarial. All it was doing was bringing information to the table that was different from what was being dispelled on the program. You know what he did? You know what he did when the other gentleman was there calling the prime minister a thief, saying that the prime minister stole taxpayers' money, and I said to him, no, you can't be doing that. You can't be maligning the prime minister because there's no evidence to suggest that the prime minister stole any money whatsoever. He started to humbug me by talking over me because you know what he was telling me that the man had a right to express himself, and I said no, he has a right to express himself, but he must be responsible enough not to malign people and to dub people criminals when they are not criminals. You know, he blocked me.
Wow. But let me say this to you guys. And I don't want this to be about that. But I have a different point of view because let me tell you, I was the first troll because I was saying to him, how dare you come around here and talk about us? We're not even not talk about Prime Minister. That wasn't part of the discussion yet. Just the hurricane itself. And so it has become something else. And because I saw him from day one, I have a different perspective. Imagine this now. This somebody, you're there, so now, you're there in well, I'm there in Kingston. And a family member where you don't know come from Spain come here. But him don't know how we roll. And him think him fear, and him being fear. I tell you that I think he's being fair. And you're right. You can't castigate the prime. You see me, I'm telling you how me view the prime minister. You see, every prime minister in this country is my prime minister, you know. And some people hear them talk about your prime minister. Whether you vote for that party or not, the prime minister remains your prime minister. And the person holding the office is supposed to be held to a higher standard and is to be respected.
Him,
But there, I don't want
hold on,
I don't
hold on,
want to get into
hold on.
that. Get into that.
Let me say something to us that, yeah? You see, some of the things where them say about the Prime Minister of Jamaica, in other country, if they live in that country and say something about that Prime Minister or President,
Yeah.
they gone, I'm telling you, they go to jail. You understand saying?
And
Because
And on the other hand, there are
we
countries where they say
understand freedom
worse.
of speech. We understand freedom of speech, boss. But the disrespecting, you can't, no. Because if somebody I talk to you, that's a freedom of speech. And he can reason with you and cuss with you. But when he's gonna go over the limit and everybody know the limit, you cannot tell a person, you cannot come and no disrespect, whether you tell the opposition or the prime minister about the matter, you should go to prison. That's how me see it. Because you
Man,
don't
let go,
have
you
no
know.
right to come online to disrespect these people like
Your
that.
phone,
You
yeah.
can talk about their policy, you can say them this, But when you gonna tell them, remember, you know, you have to respect woman.
All
And
right.
that is the thing.
Hold on a
Well, Lego, you
second,
know,
because
big up
we are going
yourself,
too
big
far
up
off.
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. But
Big
I
up,
reckon.
big up yourself, big up everybody on the panel, big up all listeners. Man,
Big
Lego,
up
this
us,
is a
man.
great live. This live will bring solutions to this country. Me know that. Me feel it in the bone of my system.
Yeah, man.
Me get your soldier. Me get where you're at now.
Yeah,
Me
man.
get what you're at, and you're an example to me. I'm clearly an older man than you, but me get what you're at. Me see what you're at. You're a good-hearted person, and I hope this discussion steers away from the politics. I really do. I'm not saying that politicians are irrelevant, Dexter. I'm saying I hope the discussion goes where I think it is intended for solutions that starts with the individual. As some me gather that channel here about. You know what I mean? Little more. I get a call too.
All right.
Yeah, man, I could ruin anybody discussion, you know.
So, listen, we go so far off topic as it regards to the point of this live, which is solutions, right? I know we have different levels of opinion, we have different levels of contention, and again, I am not here to bash anyone. We're here strictly talking about the facts, strictly talking about what is there and what can and should be done. And as far as I am concerned, I am simply bringing solutions that can be used if you so choose. And if you choose not to use it, that's fine as well. But I just want to make sure that the resources are there that you can use if you so choose. Like I said, the previous live, this live will be posted on voiceofjamaica.com. I am out of time, so I cannot extend the conversation further. But I'm gonna try to go live tomorrow again so that we can finalize the conversation and take a look at the documents on the website. But for now, if you want a copy of the documents, this is where they are going to be at. On voiceofjamaica.com, and you go to the download section right here, and you have free docs. That is going to be here. It will also be on the front page of the site. So if you are at the home page and you scroll down just a little bit, it is going to be right here on the post section. So give it a few minutes or an hour and you will have access to the live and also the documentation that if you so choose to use it, you will have the documents, the templates, and the instructions. All right? So people, big up on yourself again and continue learning. In order for you to do anything, you need to have knowledge, or else you are going to be acting on short-term benefit, which is going to be short-lived as well. If you don't know what you do, if somebody challenge you, you're in a problem. If somebody asks you about what you are doing, you're going to be in a problem. This is not to just come here and say, hey, see something here. Read for yourself. Know what you are doing and don't just run back at somebody because somebody say, yeah man, that's how it's supposed to go on. This if you do. No. Know for yourself. Learn better. Do better. Zin? Big up on yourself, everybody. Thank you for joining the live. Lawful.
Big up yourself, my bro, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Blessings,
Blessings, host. Blessings.
We love the panel. We love the panel, brother.
Yeah, man. Respect, man.
We love the
Respect, man.
platform.
Yeah, man. Very decent. Very decent.